This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live, a special edition where I didn't think that the Matt Gaetz vote to oust Kevin McCarthy would amount to anything, but it appears that the math is not mathing for the speaker, and he may actually get the boot here momentarily. So, you know, we got to cover that kind of carnage going on the floor of Congress. Let's go ahead and...
You live in sexual anarchy.
Charlie Kirk, just out of nowhere. God damn, I wasn't expecting that. This is the problem. Yes, Dustin. I didn't think it was going to amount to anything, but we may actually see Kevin McCarthy get the boot here in just a matter of minutes. But this is the problem being banned on YouTube. There's no notification that I'm on. Nobody's even going to know that I'm here. Over here hiding on Kick and D Live. So let's catch you up on what's going on, and then we'll take the House floor live. We'll get make sure we got the latest update. With a vote likely minutes away, here's how we get here. A vote on whether legislators will table or suspend an effort to oust McCarthy is expected in minutes. If that vote fails, I think that's the vote that is going on right now. This is the table. To table the motion to vacate. If that vote fails, debate and possibly a vote to remove McCarthy could begin. The proceedings top months of infighting within the Republican Party, led by a hardline flank that is sought to push the party further right. The enmity came to a head as McCarthy struggled to gain support for a stopgap government funding bill, forcing the speaker to reach out to Democrats to get the support needed to avoid a government shutdown over the weekend. Democrats are saying they are not going to save McCarthy. So it all comes down to how many votes Matt Gaetz is able to wrangle, and it appears that so far he has enough. But we have this vote to table the resolution. That one looks like it's going to pass. So we may not even get to the vote to oust him. This is confusing math here, like Scott Steiner.
You take your 33 and a third chance.
Just as McCarthy had received some good news that Sparks would not vote against him, another Republican, Representative Matt Rosendale of Montana, has become the latest to say he will vote to oust the speaker. He joins Representatives Tim Burchett, Eli Crane, Bob Good, and Matt Gaetz, who have said they will vote to remove McCarthy. The announcement means that McCarthy's fortunes may be directly tied to how many legislators attend the vote. If only a few are absent, McCarthy will have a lower threshold to stay in the role. So this is the vote. This is the vote to table the motion. That looks like all Republicans voted to table it, except for one, assuming Matt Gaetz. I'm not exactly sure what the math is because of the number of people that may be missing. But if this is the resolution to table the motion to vacate, then we will not get the motion to vacate. It looked like we were possibly getting that motion here in about 30 minutes, and that we would even have debate. I'm hoping for debate and a vote to vacate. Even if McCarthy remains the speaker, it'll still be fun to watch. Once again, sorry I didn't cover this earlier because I wasn't expecting this to get this far. McCarthy bringing it to a vote, as the Speaker of the House, it's up to him on when to bring a resolution to the floor. So trying to big dick Matt Gaetz by bringing his resolution to the floor the very next day, within hours of him proposing it. That was breaking as we came on last night at 8 o'clock. And Matt Gaetz had proposed the motion to vacate, or had put forward the motion to vacate. So once again, this is live at the House of Representatives right now, where we could see the Speaker of the House yeeted the vote to yeet Kevin McCarthy. So it does kind of seem like the Democrats not voting did save him. Here we see some of the non-votes being tallied. It's not going to be enough, is it? If all those Democrats vote, it's going to take them up to 212. If the other two non-voting Republicans vote against it, it gives them 215 to 218. So Gaetz not garnering the votes among Republicans for this vote, but apparently has 5 on his side should they get the motion to vacate. Why did all 5 of his Republicans not vote?
Does any member wish to change a vote?
This is wild.
President, one no for Mr. Sherman.
On this vote, the yeas are 218, the nays are 208. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to a question of the privileges of the House and offer the resolution I previously noticed.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 757, resolved that the office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives is hereby declared to be vacant.
The resolution qualifies as a question of the privileges of the House. For what purpose does the gentleman from Oklahoma seek recognition?
Motion to table at the desk.
The clerk will report the motion.
Mr. Cole of Oklahoma moves to lay the resolution on the table.
The question is on the motion to lay the resolution on the table. Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Gentlelady from Pennsylvania.
Yes, we would request the yeas and nays on this vote.
Yep.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas
So
and nays.
they are once again trying to table
The yeas and nays are ordered. Members,
Matt Gaetz' resolution.
by electronic device. This is a 15-minute vote.
DJ Dub, welcome. So there are 4 nays, 5 nays in the Republican camp already, 6 nays. It looks like we're going to a vote. So once again, this is not the motion to vacate. This is the motion to let it move forward. It appears that they have voted not to table the issue. So if all the Democrats vote nay, which it appears that they're going to, they have said that they're going to, the 9 Republican nays are enough to bring this to the floor. It looks like we are going to have the vote to vacate. There will be debate. There will be debate on the motion following this vote. So probably at least 2 hours of debate. So buckle up, buckaroos. My God, I did not think it was going to go this far. Let's go over, we'll go back to, I was reading from Al Jazeera. McCarthy apparently entered the House with a smile on his face. Legislators begun voting on tabling Gaetz' motion to remove McCarthy. The vote will take 15 minutes. If it fails, debate and possible vote on removing McCarthy could begin immediately. 10 nay votes. It looks like it has failed. Oh, DJ Dub, I was here in January. We were streaming it. Enters the House with a smile. I mean, it was a big dick move to bring it to a vote, but it also looks like it's going to be his undoing. Fucking wow. Na 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 na. Once again, I was not expecting this. I was not expecting to go live today. I was expecting Gaetz' resolution to go nowhere. I wasn't expecting McCarthy to be like, yeah, bring it on. Let's have a vote on it today. And what seems like a fucking big dick move might actually get him ousted. You see George Santos. Acting like he's talking to his colleagues, but I don't think he's actually talking to anybody. Look at him. He is. I think he knows the camera's on him. On C-SPAN. So he's acting like people are having something to do with, like he turned around and tried to talk to everyone around him, including Marjorie Taylor Greene in front of him. No one paid any attention to him. The poor guy. Gates looking mighty confident. Yeah, DJ Dub, I think they've got it. I think they've got the 218. Or it could be 217. We don't know how many people are missing. I've seen it could be as low as 213, but judging from the last vote, I think it's 218. She should stay in San Francisco and not ever come fucking back. I can't believe she announced she's running for re-election. Yeah, Nancy, we could have used your nay vote. Make things more fun. Chaos in Congress. So the vote ends in 9 minutes and we should see debate begin, but you know how they are. Could be another 10 minutes after the 9 minutes expire. You know how I am. I'm not high enough for this ship. Some might say we've already slipped into fascism. Some would say we've been fascist for a long time. Ten Republicans voting against the motion to table. All the Democrats have said they are going to vote against McCarthy. They are not going to save him. And why should they? Man, I should have made some food. This all happened so fast. Might end up seeing me eat spaghetti and meatballs on stream. Man, that spaghetti I made was so goddamn good. Oh my god. I bought a Dutch oven and I've been using it to its full extent. I've made several things in it. Made soup in it. That's the first thing I made in it. Made tomato bisque in my Dutch oven. Then I made meatballs in my Dutch oven. Fried meatballs in the Dutch oven. Then used the meatball grease and drippings and stuff for the sauce. The Trump trial is like limited, right? Like we're not actually seeing the actual proceedings. We get video and pictures when it's not in session, right? Well, that wouldn't be a federal law. No, that's a state trial. They wouldn't allow any cameras at all if it was federal. So they've allowed like limited press access for the fraud trial. But the video that we have gotten, amazing. Letitia James staring Trump down. I should just be streaming all day, shouldn't I? Well, Warlord, if I knew that I could just start streaming all day starting tomorrow, and I would be able to pay my bills, I'd do it. But that's a bit of a risk. I've got clients I need to keep happy because they pay my bills. I've thought, especially like when Congress is in session, just watching hearings all goddamn day, I've thought about it. I can't do my work live because, one, people might harass my clients. Two, I violate some of their, some of them make me sign NDAs, and I can't, give away their trade secrets and shit. You can't watch me make propaganda for people. It kind of takes away the magic of the propaganda. There are a select couple of clients that I feel like I could do on stream. I've thought about it. I work for a prankster TikTok channel. And I think not only would they, not care if I did it, I think they'd actually encourage me to do it. Like, oh yeah, get more views on us. Little old me, they got like millions of fucking followers. I'm a little nobody. But if I haven't shared any of their videos out like the Discord, I need to. I'll throw you guys a couple of them that I've edited that are amazing. I fucking love these guys. That's what I need to be doing right now. I need to be working on their videos. I owe them, one of them was about hotboxing. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know what they were hotboxing in a car. And the other one I did watch, and I can't even fucking think of it right now. What the fuck was it? Oh, he tried to mail his brother. He had his brother in a box, and he tried to mail him. Like, they went into, the FedEx store, and, the box would start, moving and shit. And they'd be like, it's not moving. One dude goes ballistic on them. You're wasting my time. I'm trying to work here. And yes, I did a horrible fucking, Indian, Middle Eastern impression. I tried to run a business. Love those guys. They get the cops called on them all the time. Almost every video I do for them, they get the cops called on them. 11! We're up to 11! So that puts the no votes at 218. They, for certain, we're going to get the vote. Poor Kevin McCarthy. Oh, DJ Dub, we covered it last night. But they're they usually don't piss people off. They usually make people really happy. They give out compliments, and they give they've got a series called Drive-By Compliments, and they'll just go up and give people roses and shit. They're really, their pranks are really funny and really well thought out. Not we watched the dude last night. He was just going up with his phone and putting it in people's face and saying stupid shit to them. He got shot. That video was wild. And then the pedophile hunter, he got shot. Sparts voted against McCarthy. She said she would vote to protect him. Wow. Rosendale, Nancy Mace in the no column. Wow. Wow. Biggs and Buck, that's not a surprise. Burchett, Crane, Davidson, Gates, Good, Mace, Rosendale, and Sparts. Corey Mills, that was 10. Corey Mills is the 11th. Still 2. God, the house got silent. Wow.
Does any member wish to change their vote? On this vote, the yeas are 208, the nays are 218. The motion is not adopted. Pursuant to Clause 2A2,
here we go.
The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Gates, and the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole, will each control 30 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield such time as he may consume to my colleague from Virginia, Mr. Good.
Gentleman from Virginia,
Bob Good,
is recognized for such time as he may consume. And before the gentleman speaks, may I remind my colleagues that all parties need to be heard. Would you please clear the well?
I've got to pack a bong for this.
And any extraneous conversations need to be taken from the floor.
Just to catch you guys up, we're entering the debate portion. We're getting debate and then a vote on whether to vacate Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker of the House. Chaos in Congress, and it looks like that vote will pass. It looks like Kevin McCarthy does not have the votes unless a couple of Democrats save his ass.
Mr. Speaker, like so many others, I deeply regret that we are here in what was a totally avoidable situation. I must take you back to January, however, which for many of us was about not repeating the failures of the past and letting Republican voters across the country down once again, when in the past, for many years, when Republicans have had majorities in this chamber, we have passed our major spending bills predominantly with Democrat votes, something the other side of the House has never and would never do with majority control. Back in January, I expressed my concern that the previous 2 years, during my first term here in this House, we had not used every tool at our disposal to fight against the harmful, radical Democrat agenda that is destroying the country,
the wokes,
and under which the American people are suffering.
Moralists.
But most in here wouldn't know that I helped persuade my 5 colleagues who comprised the remaining resistance in the wee morning hours of January 7 to switch our votes to present to let Mr. McCarthy become Speaker. And I went to him on this very floor to tell him that he was finally going to become Speaker on the next vote. In that moment, it was clear to me that I or we could have asked for anything in exchange for switching our votes to present, but I and we asked for nothing. The very next week, I requested and had a meeting with Speaker McCarthy to tell him he had my full support and that I wanted him to be successful because the country needed him to be successful. In the ensuing months, I helped him narrowly pass the Parents' Bill of Rights and the Limit, Save, Grow bill. I think both of those by just 1 or 2 votes, helping persuade some of my most conservative colleagues to come along despite some of the concerns they had with those bills.
There's already marijuana in my bong.
We united as a conference through the Limit, Save, Grow vote as we passed a bill that was cutting spending to pre-COVID levels for non-defense discretionary spending, or just over $100 billion, historic spending cuts, as the Speaker had committed to do in January, and it also included a host of other conservative fiscal reforms. Unfortunately, however, that unity and that commitment to significant year 1 cuts and spending reforms were discarded in the Failed Responsibility Act, as I call it, which passed overwhelmingly, once again, with a majority of Democrat votes, validating the concern many of us had in January. Many of us had begged the Speaker, pleaded with the Speaker repeatedly to utilize the debt ceiling to leverage spending cuts and reforms. But instead, he negotiated an unlimited increase to the debt ceiling through January of 25. As much as we can come together and gleefully spend through January of 25 with no significant wins for the American people in that FRA or failed.
Just to be clear, what he is saying is that he wants 5, 6, however many he has of his fellow Republicans to be able to hold up any kind of legislation. You can't pass it with, a bipartisan bill with all the Democrats signed on. No, they're 5 or 6 crazy motherfuckers, Good, Gates, Sparts, the fucking far-right lunatics. They've got to be appeased. That's what he's saying.
Here under Republican majority from $2.2 trillion to $2.1 trillion. That's what we were asking the Republican House.
Remember, they have a razor-thin majority. It's only, 3 seats? 4 seats?
A balanced budget vote to this floor, something that still has not happened, despite the work that's been done in our budget committee to mark it up and have it ready to come to the floor. He also promised that we would bring all 12 appropriation bills well before the September 30 fiscal deadline. We did not. We simply, as Republicans, needed the Speaker to cast the vision, request the support of the entire conference, all of whom voted for the limit, save, grow levels, except for 4 who wanted to go even further, to lead us in joining him, sticking with him, supporting him, and sending the most conservative spending bills with the most conservative cuts possible to the Senate as the best starting position for negotiations with the Senate. Many of us begged and pleaded with the Speaker to do that over the past 5 months. When the Speaker failed us to pass our spending bills, bringing only 1 of 12 to the floor before the August district work period, members began to negotiate amongst themselves without the Speaker to find compromise. I was among those who reluctantly agreed last month to split the difference between failed responsibilities 1.586 and the limit, save, grow 1.471. I reluctantly agreed to do that, to go to 1.526 in order to pass our bills on to the Senate. We then essentially forced the Speaker, with the pressure of the calendar, the debt ceiling, or excuse me, the shutdown threat of the calendar, to bring those 4 bills to the floor last week, all of which I voted for, despite some of them not cutting to the levels we'd agreed to and other concerns I had with the bills. I reluctantly voted for the 30-day conditional CR, or continuing resolution, because it cut an additional $10 billion in the month of October, going back to the pre-COVID 1.471 levels for defense, non-defense discretionary, 30%, and it had border security. I voted for that. However, when that vote failed, the Speaker this past Friday in the Republican conference meeting made it abundantly clear that he was willing to do anything to avoid the temporary discomfort and the pressure of a pause in the 15% of the non-essential federal government operations, which would
people's paychecks
that we would lose to the Senate Democrats and the White House. If you're not willing to say no, then you're guaranteed to lose. And that was confirmed with the passage of the unconditional 45-day CR this past Saturday, once again with 209 Democrat votes. The Republican bill, 209-1 Democrats, 51-0 in the Senate side. The Speaker fought through 15 votes in January to become Speaker, but was only willing to fight through 1 failed CR before surrendering to the Democrats on Saturday. We need a Speaker who will fight for something.
It got signed with like minutes to spare.
Or becoming Speaker. If there was ever a time to fight, with $33 trillion in national debt, a $2 trillion deficit this year, 40-year high inflation, 20-year high interest rates, a downgraded credit rating, and for the first time in modern history, the polls showing, despite all the help of the media, blaming Republicans in the House.
The downgraded credit rating was because you guys keep holding the fucking budget hostage.
If not fight now, when would we fight? Now is and was the time.
Like this motherfucker directly responsible for the downgrading of the credit rating.
We cannot simply be content to be the party that slows it down to 95 just so we can sit in the front seat and wear the captain's hat. Our current debt and our spending trajectory is unsustainable. We need a speaker, ideally somebody who doesn't want to be speaker and hasn't pursued that at all costs for his entire adult life, who will meet the moment and do everything possible to fight for the country. A red line was crossed for me, I regret, on Saturday, and chose regret that I must vote against the motion to table as I did and to vote to vacate the chair. And I yield back.
Gentleman from Florida reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I share one thing in common with my friend from Virginia. This is a very sad day, and certainly a day I never expected to have to live through. You know, I think broadly speaking,
I think we all saw it coming back in January.
Into three groups. I'm very happy to be in the first group. The overwhelming majority of my party supports the speaker that we elected. We're proud of the leadership he's shown. We're proud of the manner in which he's been willing to work with everybody in our conference and, I believe, in this chamber. There's a second
Stop
group.
hitting the microphone.
Small group. Honestly, they're willing to plunge this body into chaos and this country into uncertainty for reasons that only they really understand. I certainly don't. And then there are friends on the other side. I mean,
political grandstanding.
Honestly, with great sincerity, I have a lot of friends over there. And I recognize that my friends on the other side have a very complex set of partisan, personal, and political calculations to make. And I certainly wouldn't presume to give them any advice about that. But I would say, think long and hard before you plunge us into chaos, because that's where we're headed if we vacate the speakership.
We want it.
I personally think there's really three reasons why
Democrats aren't going to save your ass.
That's because at each three of these critical minutes, the speaker did the right thing. First, there was a speaker vote. You know, he got 85% of the vote in our conference, 90% of the vote from Republicans on this floor. Yet we had a small group that decided, no, they would dictate what they want. He didn't let that happen. He fought. Now, he fought for himself, but he fought for 90% of us, too, that wanted him to be the speaker, and I appreciate that. Then, of course, we had the debt ceiling deal. Nobody here thought he could pass a bill. Nobody in America thought he could pass a bill. He did what speakers are supposed to do. He passed the bill. Then he sat down and negotiated with a Democratic Senate and a Democratic president and came back with a good deal, a deal that will limit spending. He did the right thing. Finally, last Saturday on this floor, we were on the verge of a government shutdown that the vast majority of members in this chamber did not want.
DJ Dub, they've said they're not going to.
An overwhelming majority on the Democrat side.
But that's my worry, that 6 of them are going to bail him out.
Knowing this day was coming, to do the right thing for the country, without a doubt. My friends and I agree on that, whether or not we agree on the speaker. He did the right thing. He did the right thing, I think, for this institution. He showed it could function in a time of crisis. And finally, I think he did the right thing for our party. He made sure that we could continue to negotiate and achieve some of the very objectives my friend from Virginia laid out, and achieve them in divided government, which calls for some degree of give and take. So I'm very proud of this speaker.
Damn, this dude made an excellent argument. He sold me.
Tomorrow morning, whether I win or lose, I'm going to be pretty proud of the people I fought with, and I'm going to be extraordinarily proud of the person I fought for, the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Excellent speech. I'm sold.
Gentleman from Oklahoma's time is reserved. Gentleman from Florida.
Mr. Speaker,
content warning.
Oklahoma says that my colleagues and I who don't support Kevin McCarthy would plunge the House and the country into chaos.
Yep.
Chaos is Speaker McCarthy. Chaos is somebody who we cannot trust.
And she is right on time. Good evening. I'm sorry, good afternoon, Scott Comet.
House Democrats and many of us on the conservative side of the Republican caucus would argue is that the thing we have in common, Kevin McCarthy said something to all of us at one point or another that
we're about 10 minutes into debate
to live up to.
On the motion to vacate. Whoa.
I think $33 trillion in debt is chaos. I think that facing a $2.2 trillion annual deficit is chaos. I think that not passing single subject spending bills is chaos. I think the fact that we have been governed in this country since the mid-90s by continuing resolution and omnibus is chaos. And the way to liberate ourselves from that is a series of...
I don't think so, Warlord.
...that I would hope would outlast Speaker McCarthy's time here, would outlast my time here, and would outlast either of our majorities. Reforms that I have heard some of the most conservative members of this body fight for, and some of the reforms that we've been battling for that I've even heard those in the Democrat caucus say would be worthy and helpful to the House, like open amendments, like understanding what the budget is. We have been out of compliance with budget laws for most of my life, most of many of your lives. And by the way, if we did those things, if we had single subject bills, if we had an understanding on the top line, if we had open amendments, if we had...
Their situation for Speaker, much different than ours.
Times when my conservative colleagues and I would lose, might be a few times when we'd win. There'd be times that we would form partnerships that might otherwise not be really predictable in the American body politic, but the American people would see us legislating. These last few days, we've suspended the momentum that we had established the week earlier, where we were bringing bills to the floor, voting on them, staying late at night, working hard. That's what the American people expect. It's something Speaker McCarthy hasn't delivered, and that's why I've moved to vacate the chair. I reserve.
Got me working day and night.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend, Mr. Emmer from Minnesota.
Gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer, is recognized for 2 minutes.
What up, Emmer?
Thank you. Kevin McCarthy has earned this.
Emmer doesn't look like a winner.
Our House Republican majority has actually defied all odds and overperformed expectations again and again and again. It all started with the Speaker's race, when our Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, showed the American people how he would never give up. It carried over into the Speaker spearheading a rules package to create the most transparent, member-driven legislative process that I've ever seen since I've been here. And since then, Speaker McCarthy's Republican...
Been there since Methuselah.
...successful in bringing common sense back to our nation's capital by passing legislation to affirm a parent's right to be involved in their child's education, bolster American energy production.
Back when Methuselah was the Speaker of the House.
Fight back against the regulatory state and continue delivering on our promise to rein in Democrats' reckless spending by passing fiscally responsible
Looks like a mouse fucking.
bills. We've also achieved historic conservative wins, like passing the strongest border security
You live in
legislation
sexual
in history,
anarchy.
passing the first Republican-only NDAA in history, and passing the first Republican-only state and foreign operations appropriations bill. So many Americans are better off because of Kevin McCarthy's leadership. American families, job creators, entrepreneurs, service members, law enforcement officers, and the list goes on and on. These are just a few of our House Republican majority successes. But make no mistake, we need Kevin McCarthy to remain Speaker if we're going to stay focused on our mission of delivering common sense wins for the American.
Let's say Mouse. Smokey showed back up.
What success looks like when we come together as a team. Now it's time for us to stand together stronger than ever so we can get back to the work our majority was elected to do. I'm proud to support the Speaker as we continue championing conservative priorities that will put our country on a better
And I'd say in the House, there, a third of them know what normal people problems are.
The opening line of my colleague's speech was that Speaker McCarthy always overperforms expectations, but after tweeting, "Bring it," and after engaging in profane-laced tirades at House conference, he just lost a motion to table. So I wouldn't necessarily consider that over.
Oh!
Time and again, I've heard my colleagues say that, well, he deserves it because he went through a tough speaker contest. Let me let everyone know, he prevailed in that speaker contest because he made an agreement to fulfill certain commitments to make this an open and honest process, and he has failed to meet those commitments, and that's why we are here. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 3 minutes to my very good friend, Mr. Jordan of Ohio.
Gentleman from Ohio is recognized for 3 minutes.
Never forget that Gymnasium Jordan helped cover up sexual abuse at Ohio State University.
Pass the bills that need passed, do the oversight work that needs to be done, and stop the inevitable omnibus that comes from the United States Senate right before the holidays. Kevin McCarthy has been rock solid on all 3. We have passed the bills we told the American people we would pass. 87,000 IRS agents, that bill passed. Parents' Bill of Rights, that bill passed. Energy legislation passed. Border security, immigration enforcement legislation, the strongest bill ever to pass the Congress, passed earlier this year. We have done what we told them we were going to do. We can't help it the Senate won't take up those good...
That's what I was getting ready to say. None of that shit made it to the Senate.
Come election day. Oversight. We have done the oversight that we're supposed to do. Because of our oversight, we know that parents were targeted by the Department of Justice. Because
we passed a whole bunch of shit as a House that doesn't matter.
Weeks before the most important election we have. And because of our oversight, the Disinformation Governance Board at the Department of Homeland Security is gone. Because of our oversight, the memo attacking pro-life Catholics has been rescinded. Because of our oversight, unannounced visits to Americans' home by the Internal Revenue Service has stopped. That happened under Speaker McCarthy. And on the third one, on this side of it, we know there's a big old ugly bill coming at the end of the year, all kinds of spending, all kinds of garbage in it. We're still in that fight. Frankly, to Matt's point, we don't know how that one's going to shake out. But we do know this. We do know this. On Saturday, we didn't take the Senate's bill. They tried to send over and shove it down our throats on Saturday. We didn't take that bill. And it was a tough position he was in. There were 5 options on the table last week. Option 1 was to send a long-term...
Speaking of shoving things down people's throats,
leverage the 1% cut.
You helped cover up sexual abuse of wrestlers at Ohio State University.
It was to focus on the one issue the country now is completely focused on, the border issue. We couldn't get the votes for that one either. But when the Senate tried to send us that bill, he said no to it. I think the Speaker has kept his word. I know my colleagues and friends are saying different. I think he has kept his word on those 3 things that we talked about on January 3rd, and frankly, that entire week. He has kept his word. I think we should keep him as Speaker. I yield back.
Not as good as the first guy.
Florida is recognized.
Yeah, the problem with my friend from Ohio's argument is that many of the bills he referenced as having passed are not law. We are on a fast track to an omnibus bill, and it is difficult to champion oversight.
He's right.
House Republicans haven't even sent a subpoena to Hunter Biden. So it's hard to make the argument that oversight is the reason to continue when it sort of looks like failure theater. I yield such time as you may consume to my comments.
Failure theater.
Gentleman from Arizona is recognized. How much time?
What he consumes.
So much as he may consume.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a serious time.
Fucking Biggs.
My mind immediately goes to the young deputy from Cochise County who 2 nights ago, while trying to apprehend a runaway vehicle smuggling humans across the border, suffered major injuries, transported to Pima County.
I feel like that's something that I would have covered.
I'm talking about a border that remains wide open.
Okay, it's not wide open.
Through the Tucson sector.
If you're talking about a cop that got injured trying to apprehend somebody,
along the border.
The border can't be wide open, you motherfucker.
Terrorists coming in.
Come on,
People
man.
conducting criminal conduct coming in. Criminal gang members. Human smugglers, sex traffickers. They're coming across our border to the tune of hundreds of thousands every month.
Human smugglers, sex traffickers. That sounds like your caucus, sir.
I appreciate my colleagues and their position. But I would suggest something.
Hey, nobody told you to get up there.
To last weekend and say, oh my goodness. A CR came out last weekend on Saturday. I think we need to go back to January. I'll say this. this body came together on the Republican side, and we passed.
Where were you on January 6th, Andy Briggs?
Piece of legislation.
Andy Biggs, not
That's
Briggs.
Good. And then last week we passed the DHS bill and the DOD bills, which had funding for our CBP, ICE, military leaders, military men and women. But why were we successful in doing that? What happened to motivate us to get there? Well, for one thing, we didn't bother to pass the 12 appropriations bills as required under the Budget Control and Impounds Law of 1974. We didn't do it. And you know how many times that's not been done? 25 years in a row. And you know how many CRs this body has passed in that same period of time? 130. You know what that gets you? A $2 trillion plus structural deficit like we had in fiscal year 23.
No tax cuts.
You know what that leads you to? A $33 trillion national debt, which is where we sit today.
You don't have enough revenue, raise taxes.
Leads you to somewhere north of $700 billion in interest payments. And you know why that happened?
Because you guys kept cutting taxes.
Is entrenched in a suboptimal path and refuses to leave it.
Yeah, capitalism.
Refuses to leave that path.
Neoliberalism.
You cannot change if you're unwilling to.
PP girl.
We had every.
This is the debate on the motion to vacate.
We were promised
Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker of the House.
Those 12 bills done.
And it looks like it's gonna pass.
Why you do 12 bills? Because it allows you to reduce spending, get rid of wasteful, duplicative programs. It allows you to set an agenda to restore fiscal sanity.
You just raise taxes. I just told you.
Do it again. We were promised we'd do it.
That's
why at the end, some people said
it's 6 far-right Republicans.
We'll go ahead. We're going to put our trust
being assholes.
Mr. McCarthy to become the Speaker.
And the Democrats are laughing their asses off, and they're not going to bail them out. We think possible 6 or 7 Democrats bail them out.
That was my struggle last November and December.
And he made some kind of deal with them.
This body, our conference anyway. When we got to the debt ceiling, again, that seemed to spring upon everybody like a surprise.
Yeah, didn't it?
And when that happened, I was in there for some of those negotiations on where that number would be. And I was astonished how that 1.5 trillion number was negotiated. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I will tell you this. To his credit, the Speaker told us one thing that I believe to be true. He said that's basically the ante in a poker game. He can sit down.
Girl, you know it's true.
And I told my colleagues who supported that $1.5 trillion in 8 months, that you're willing to raise the debt ceiling. That's the opening marker. And indeed it was. And now projections are many $1 trillion above that. Yes, I think it's time to make a change.
Gonna make a
Not the
change.
And that's it's somber. Thus it is somber. But what have we failed to accomplish? Why didn't we get this stuff done? When we're campaigning, we're talking about an extension of the debt ceiling to January of 2025. We're talking about additional Ukraine funding. Is that going to be, maybe that's good in your districts. Maybe it's not. But that money's not offset. We're not paying for it. We haven't designated how we're going to pay for that.
Raise taxes, yes. Offset. That's the correct word, offset, with taxes. It's not rocket science.
80% increased. And I would tell you, I could go down the list, but I will just tell you why this happens. When you don't do your 12 budget bills, and you rely ultimately on a CR, and I'll get to the calendar in a second. what happens is you cannot leverage this administration to actually enforce the border laws that you need to have enforced. This is a lawless Biden regime. They do not enforce border laws. And we can pass them till we're blue in the face. But until you leverage.
He just said
and the spin,
a cop got shot. An agent got shot.
This administration. So now take a look at the calendar that we were just provided last week. We're supposed to finish by November 3rd our 12 bills. By November 17th, that's when we're supposed to see that the conference committees have come together, both sides, and we've resolved this. I don't believe that that's going to happen. It wasn't going to happen before. You were betting on the come again. At some point,
come again?
I'd urge you to stop betting on the come and bet on the reality. That's why I can't support.
Stop betting on the
Speaker
come.
Longer. I'll be voting for the motion to vacate. Yield back.
Reserve. Gentleman yields
Stop
back his
betting
time.
on the
Gentleman
come.
From Florida.
Reserves.
Reserves. Members are advised to direct your comments to the chair, please. Gentleman from Oklahoma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend from Arkansas, Mr. Westerman.
Gentleman from Arkansas, Mr. Westerman, is recognized for 2 minutes.
Selah, S-E-L-A-H, Selah. This unique word scattered throughout the Psalms signals to the reader to pause, reflect, consider, and maybe take a deep breath before moving on. Psalmists use Selah to emphasize the significance of a statement. For example, King David wrote, "Blessed be the Lord who daily bears our burden, the God who is our salvation." Selah. That is a profound statement with huge implications. It deserves more than a cursory consideration. Within the next hour, this House will vote yea or nay to vacate the Speaker's chair, a profound action with huge implications. This was last tried in 1910.
I kind of have my hands full.
Joseph Cannon won the vote. 113 years later, my office is in the Cannon Office Building, and Uncle Joe Cannon's statue sits just outside this chamber. No living human has taken the vote we're about to take. It deserves that we pause, we reflect, that we consider deeply the ramification of our actions. To my fellow Republicans who would consider voting yes to removing our Republican Speaker, please pause and ask yourself 2 questions.
Pause.
Will your yes
Here's
vote
a couple
make
pause.
America stronger? Will your yes vote strengthen conservative policy?
Pause.
If you believe yes is the right vote, please stand before this body and the American people and articulate your plan. Not your grievances or your wishes, your plan. Convince the mass majority of the Republican conference that strongly disagrees with you to follow you. If you cannot do that, which you have failed to do so far, then voting yes is at the least a disruptive overreaction. In reality, it's selfish, bad for conservative policies, and bad for America. That's why I strongly support Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and why without hesitation or reservation, I will vote no on this disastrous resolution. I yield back.
Gentleman from Florida.
There's nothing selfish about wanting a Speaker of the House who tells the truth. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend from Kentucky and fellow member of the Rules Committee, Mr. Massey.
Gentleman from Kentucky.
Fuck Thomas Massey.
2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, as the only still serving co-author and co-sponsor of the motion to vacate Speaker Boehner, I can tell you this motion to vacate is a terrible idea. As the only member who's serving here who took every chance to vote against Speaker Boehner and to vote against Speaker Ryan, I can tell you that this chamber has been run better, more conservatively, and more transparently under Mr. McCarthy than any other speaker that I have served under. As a member of the Rules Committee, one of three conservatives who were placed there out of trust, the Speaker gave us a blocking position by putting 3 of us on there to keep an eye on the Rules Committee to make sure the process was fair and even. I can tell you it's been fair and even. None of us are voting against the Speaker today. Regular order is at odds with predetermined outcomes. Yet the Speaker is being accused of not holding to regular order and predetermined outcomes at the same time. It is not possible. You cannot be for both at the same time. I was a party to the January agreement, and I can tell you that there were promises in there, but there was never a promise for an outcome.
He's going to lose, and we're going to have another vote, and I don't know who has the votes.
The promise that we would try, and try we have. We have tried in the Rules Committee. We have tried on the floor. We've been trying this since the summer.
The Dems will always vote for Hakeem Jeffries.
But part of it was a relitigation of the debt limit deal. By the way, there was no promise on the debt limit deal, no conditions on that in January, zero whatsoever. I was in the room for that. So the 12 bills were delayed over what? $100 billion. That's a lot of money. But it's nothing compared to the $2 trillion that I came here to object to when Speaker Pelosi and President Trump pushed that bill through. We've had over 500 amendments. Listen, this is a referendum on this institution. We have tried regular.
God, he's impassioned.
Tried regular order. If regular order fails today, if you vacate the Speaker, nobody is going to try it again.
Gentleman's time has expired.
This institution will fail. Please do not vacate the Speaker.
Are there a dozen Democrats that vote to save McCarthy? That is the question.
From Florida,
I reserve.
Gentleman from Florida.
But they have stated that
Thank you very much.
They're not going to help them.
2 minutes to my very good friend from California, Mr. McClintock.
Gentleman from California, Mr. McClintock, is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, if there was ever a time for sobriety, wisdom, and caution in this House, it is right now. If this motion carries, the House will be paralyzed. We can expect week after week of fruitless ballots while no other business can be conducted.
Yeah, that's kind of what we want.
And Republican dysfunction, and the public will rightly be repulsed. It'll end when the Democrats are able to enlist a rump caucus of Republicans to join a coalition to end the impasse. This House will shift dramatically to the left and will effectively end Republican House majority that the voters elected in 2022. And this, in turn, will neutralize the only counterweight in our elected government to the woke left's control of in the White House.
That's why we want it.
Up yours, are destroying our economy and have opened our borders to invasion. There are turning points in history whose significance is only realized by the events that they unleash. This is one of those times. We are at the precipice. There are only minutes left to come to our senses and realize the grave danger our country is in at this moment.
We're gonna cross the Rubicon.
To see it and to save
a day that will live in infamy.
Gentleman from Florida.
Yeah, Warlord, that sounds about right.
Cautious about the path we are on. We are on a path to financial ruin if this House does not take a different posture, a different procedure, and
because it's America, Warlord.
And a better future. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
An 11-year-old was arrested and charged in the shooting of 2 teens in Florida. That's just a normal day in the USA.
1 and 1/2 minutes.
I stand before my colleagues in the nation as a proud representative of the great state of Florida. I truly am beyond blessed to represent the paradise that is Miami-Dade County and the Florida Keys, and I am beyond proud to represent my community before this Congress, to stand with a leader who has consistently demonstrated an unwavering commitment to our country and to the principles that define us as Americans, Kevin McCarthy. Today is historic for a lot of reasons. For one thing, this is the first time in over 100 years that this has been attempted. But it's also because we're part of a Congress with historically tight majorities for the Republicans in the House and the Democrats in the Senate. And we have
not tight butthole.
Divided government. That's what we have. The need to negotiate, to find solutions to the issues facing this country. That's
yeah, at first I was a little taken aback, Sky comment, but then I realized it.
Exceptional. And principles that allowed me, an exile who came here from Cuba, fleeing communist Cuba to serve in this very institution. You see, I wasn't born here, and everything that I am, everything that I ever will be, is thanks to America. The best part about it is that my story, the story of the community that I'm so proud to represent, is a story of many in this body, is that we are not the exception in America. We are the rule.
Yeah, peanut head.
America that Kevin McCarthy has fought for his entire career. Kevin McCarthy is a champion for the American dream, and he's proved it as our speaker. Thomas Jefferson once said, "I predict future happiness for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the guise of taking care of them." McCarthy.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you.
I don't think that's a real quote.
A great man, a great leader, a great speaker. Thank you, and I yield back.
That doesn't sound like Jefferson at all. That sounds like some fucking PragerU bullshit.
Gentleman has 9 3/4 minutes remaining.
I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 1.5 minutes to my very good friend from Iowa, the gentlelady, Ms. Henson.
The gentlelady from Iowa, Ms. Henson, is recognized for 1.5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of our Speaker, Kevin McCarthy. Let's be very clear here. We would not have a House Republican majority without the relentless efforts of this man, our Speaker. Under his leadership, Joe Biden's policies have had a check and balance. His policies.
I mean, who hasn't been charged with witchcraft?
10,000 illegal immigrants a day surging across our border. Under Speaker McCarthy, Republicans have passed legislation to secure our border. Joe Biden has done everything to squash American energy, selling our oil reserves to China. Under Speaker McCarthy, Republicans have passed legislation to unleash America.
Well, I kind of thought she was cute until she started talking.
Taxpayer dollars like there's no tomorrow. Under Speaker McCarthy, we have returned to passing single subject appropriations bills and ending the status quo of omnibus spending.
Sorry.
The advice that I received was from Kevin McCarthy when I got here to D.C. He told me
I'd agree, like,
separate the signal from the noise.
Look at everybody in the frame right now, well, except for this dude up here. Ignore him. I'd go to this orgy. I'd go to that orgy.
Many accomplishments that we've delivered for the American people with Speaker McCarthy.
Especially this dude. This dude's probably the hottest person
time and time again
on our television sets right now.
Today and going forward to save our country for my kids and yours. My colleagues today here have a choice. Be a chaos agent or get back to work. So I call on my colleagues, let's separate the signal from the noise. Let's support our Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, so we can get back to work for the American people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back.
Gentleman from Florida, Mr. Gates.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Black dude was sexy.
The signal is for $33 trillion in debt facing
Simp. Good afternoon.
Deficits. And our fellow Americans may be watching, wondering, how does that happen?
You got here just in time.
Country in the world have a process so
Kevin McCarthy is getting ready to lose the gavel. Amazingly.
Where many of us come from. Here's how it works. The law says we're supposed to have the very single subject spending bills that my colleague referenced in the summer. That we're supposed to have that and move it. But there's a dirty little secret in this town. And that is if you delay, if you hold the bills, if you make multiple contradictory promises.
Well, I think there's many dirty little secrets in that town.
Back everybody up against shutdown politics. Well, nobody wants to shut the government down. No one cheers for a shutdown. And of course, when people are backed up against shutdown politics, the decision calculus changes. So year after year, decade after decade, we break the law and we do the same thing. We pass a continuing resolution, then we pass another continuing resolution, and then it's either another continuing resolution or an omnibus bill or a series of minibuses that lump these disparate things together. The American people want all of us to take votes on single subject matters. They don't want to see these things all mushed together and log rolled. And it was concerning to me to hear of news of a secret deal on Ukraine funding that would have log rolled more money with Ukraine with our southern border. Now, how offensive is that to our Customs and Border Patrol, to our ICE, to the people that are suffering as a consequence of our border, that some of my colleagues are only willing to stand up and fight for our border if they could send billions to Ukraine to fund their...
Representative Omar giving him some fucking crazy looks.
I reserve.
Gentleman's time is reserved. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 1 minute to our distinguished Majority Leader, my good friend from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise.
Steve Scalise.
Majority Leader, Mr. Scalise is recognized
Mr.
for 1
Speaker.
minute.
Thank my friend from Oklahoma for yielding. And
we're getting close, Warlord. Almost there.
People have. We knew that it was going to be a narrow majority. We also knew that.
Where were you on January 6th?
Easy. How many of us came here because we thought this job was going to be easy? How many of us thought the task ahead of us to address the problems of this country was going to be easy?
Get you somebody that looks at you the way Henson looks at Scalise. Damn.
Ignored for years and years and years. We had to change the way that this place worked. And one thing Speaker McCarthy embraced from day one is to start making those kind of changes to this institution, opening up the process, allowing members to be more engaged, having amendments come to the floor, single subject bills, doing appropriations bills. Yes, making that happen overnight is not something that happens automatically, but it started to happen, and we are now seeing the fruits of it. Just last week, we had 4 different appropriations bills on this House floor, 4 different ones. Now, those bills took weeks and weeks to finally get to the floor, going through an open committee process, hundreds of amendments, each one of them, where Republicans, Democrats could bring their ideas. And we debated those bills on the floor, some until after midnight, where members could actually participate in the process. This has been a broken process for a long time, but it's a process where if we're going to confront the problems that families are facing, because
I hate his tie, I hate his suit, I hate his stupid white shirt.
Before we can then go and fight for those families who are struggling, but every single day across America, families
remember Congress, dress well, motherfucker.
We're going to have to get back to solving.
Wear some Carhartts.
Real for them. It's inflation,
baggy shorts,
it's the economy, it's high energy costs. It's an open southern border that doesn't just affect the border states. It's affecting every state. Republican districts, Democrat districts. Everybody knows it. And it can be ignored by the White House, but this House is the only body that started to take action.
Our House.
With H.R. 2, and then with the border bill last week, and with the action we took last week, over 70% of government funding passed out of the House. However, everybody voted.
Seriously, is Henson fucking Scalise?
Funding for over 70%.
The way she's looking at him.
And it's sitting over in the Senate.
He wants a piece of that meatball.
And we're going to beat up each other and talk about our internal processes, and we need to get our internal processes working better. But you know what? So does that other body over there, and so does the White House. Everybody in this town needs to be engaged in addressing these problems. But if we don't start here, and if we don't focus these next 45 days, because that's what we've got in front of us. We've got 2 bills this week. We've got 2 more appropriations bills next week.
You ain't passing shit. You ain't going to have a speaker.
Confronting those, we've got to stay focused on our mission. What the other side does, let's continue to put pressure on them. But we also need to put pressure on ourselves to do our job. And Speaker McCarthy's been leading at the top of the level to make sure that we have the tools to do our jobs in a different way than the House has done it before. This House is going to have to continue to make those changes. But the American people sent us here to confront those problems. We're finally starting to. This isn't the time to slow that process down. We need to keep doing our work. We need to keep fighting for those families.
I don't like any of you.
But so does the Senate, and so does the White House as well. Let's keep doing this work that we were sent here to do. I yield back.
Gentleman from Florida is recognized with...
Oh, yeah, he's being treated for blood cancer.
Mr. Cole commands...
That's why he put an N95 mask on. He doesn't want to catch the COVID.
I agree with everything that the majority leader said in those remarks.
I don't even know who that motherfucker is.
It is astonishing to hear any colleague give Speaker McCarthy credit for moving on to the single subject appropriations bill.
He's got a nice voice, though.
Mr. Biggs say that was never the plan from Speaker McCarthy.
Fuck Mr. Biggs.
We moved on to those single subject appropriations bills. The plan was another CR. He pitched a CR. They tried to get us to vote for a CR, and only when a brave few said, we are done governing by continuing resolution. We are here to eulogize the era of continuing resolution. We will not do it. We will not pass it. These bills can go. The spending may rise and fall as the years pass. But the notion that we're going to lump in the Department of Education and the Department of Labor with our military and our troops and our Border Patrol is fundamentally unserious, and I would suggest chaotic. We cannot do that. It was only because we forced that to happen. And by the way, if we continue with Speaker McCarthy, the appropriations process will go right back to what he wanted it to go back to. Just a sideshow, just a puppet show, just something to keep the hamsters on the hamster wheel as they continue to back people up against a calendar, centralize power with the lobbyists and special interests that move all kind of money through the leadership. And then that's how they get their way, and that's why the American people have been getting screwed decade after decade, and I'm not going to tolerate it anymore without a fight. I reserve.
Gentleman's time is reserved. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend, fellow member of the Appropriations Committee, Mr. Garcia of California.
Gentleman from California, Mr. Garcia, is recognized for 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I want to recalibrate our minds on what is actually happening.
Recalibrate our minds.
This proceeding looks important, it feels consequential, but let's look what
he's dated a hippie girl at some point.
Today, about 300 Americans will die from fentanyl poisoning. Today, about 11,000 people will illegally penetrate our borders. Today's debt is approaching $34 trillion. Today's mortgage rates just hit a 25-year
He said penetrate.
now approaching 8%. Our energy prices are again at back-breaking highs with gas approaching $8 a gallon in my district. Today, China and the CCP grow stronger with an intent to go to war by 2027, and our military is experiencing record low retention and record low recruitment. This is the reality of today for 335 million Americans under President Joe Biden. It's a dark and scary reality. This Republican majority here today in the House is the only firewall against the damaging far-left policies of the Biden administration. The single subject appropriation bills that we were supposed to be voting on this week will literally fight to reverse the darkness of these realities.
Yeah, China has its own problems with its housing and financial markets.
Security and investing in our soldiers at a meaningful level. But today, this body filled with people in fancy suits led by a few Republicans who are running with scissors and supported by Democrats who have personal issues with the Speaker, have uncertain intentions and even more uncertain goals, and they've decided to make today about drama. Not about solving problems and helping our constituents, but about drama.
He's accusing Gates of running with scissors.
For America, this party, this majority, and I fear that this self-inflicted drama of today jeopardizes our majority and by definition removes the last layer of defense protecting America from this Biden administration.
I like his tie.
The drama, do our jobs, and move on.
I don't like the combo with the suit and the... I don't think the suit and the shirt match the tie.
Gentleman from Florida.
Yeah, I'm here to solve problems too, but we have decade after decade of history showing us that you don't solve any problems with continuing resolutions and omnibus bills. That creates more problems, more debt, more inflation, more pain for American families. So the way to solve problems is to break the fever dream of governing by continuing resolution and omnibus bill and instead return to the very single subject spending bills that we will only get if my resolution passes to vacate Speaker McCarthy. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend from North Carolina, Mr. McHenry.
Gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. McHenry, is recognized for 2 minutes.
I want a candy bar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Every step of the way.
Oh, this motherfucker.
Speaker McCarthy has been doubted. After the first Speaker vote, he was mocked, right? And after 15, they called him Speaker. And even then, it was the media and the left that mocked him.
We're still mocking him.
Republican majority in a generation, what did we achieve? We brought the president to the table when he stubbornly said for 100 days they would not negotiate. on the debt ceiling. I took him at his word. The Speaker said no.
Orville Redenbacher.
Sure enough, we did. The result?
I feel like he should be like somebody's sidekick in like a buddy comedy.
Generations, the largest spending cuts year over year that any Congress has passed. Conservative outcomes. So I understand.
He's the wacky scientist neighbor that helps a kid out.
Why? And then this past weekend, so I understand the frustration on the left at what happened on the continuing resolution. But why would we have conservatives object to that? Why will we have House members object to that? We rolled the Senate. We never roll the Senate as a House. Moreover, we never roll the Senate to get less spending, and we got it this weekend. So I understand why the left is mad. What I don't understand is why some Republicans think that that's a bad thing. The frustration for me today, I understand where the liberals are. I know you support the constitutional order, except in a moment like this when you are questioned on that.
What are you talking about?
You can't be counted on in a moment like this with the state of the speakership.
You want Democrats to save your fucking ass.
For better outcomes and hand the keys over to the Democrats. Why would we do that? And furthermore, with this record of success that we've seen Kevin McCarthy and a Republican majority produce in a Washington run by Democrats, we're going to throw that away, resulting in more liberal outcomes, not more conservative ones. So I understand why the left is where you are today. You don't like an effective conservative majority, and I don't blame you. But on the right,
effective. He thinks they were effective.
It is lovely to hear from the principal architect of Mr. McCarthy's debt limit deal, but here's the reality. The only Republicans in America who believe that the debt limit deal was conservative are in this chamber right now. Because all over America, Republicans think that when you negotiated that debt limit deal, they took your lunch money. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time.
That's what the AM Talk Radio is saying.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 1.5 minutes to my very good friend from my home state, Gentlelady Ms. Bice.
Gentlelady from Oklahoma, Ms. Bice, is recognized for 1.5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Under his leadership and a very small 5-seat majority, House Republicans have achieved, contrary to popular belief, numerous victories. We passed the Parents' Bill of Rights, the Lower Energy Costs Act to lower the cost of gasoline and restore American energy independence. The Fiscal Responsibility Act.
Okay, maybe Henson just looks at everybody like that.
With enforceable spending caps in American history. And H.R. 2.
Maybe she wants to fuck her too.
Southern Border Security Bill in history. All of this while fully funding our military and our nation's veterans. Let me be abundantly clear. Attempting to remove Speaker McCarthy will put this House in a stalemate and paralyze our ability to fight for our constituents and instead create a fight amongst one another.
Yeah, that's why we're for it.
Restore fiscal responsibility and advance conservative appropriations priorities, which is exactly what my colleagues have asked for. Instead, we are threatening any House proceedings. This is an unnecessary distraction. Working together under the leadership of Speaker McCarthy is of the utmost importance. I stand and strongly support Kevin McCarthy for Speaker of the House, and I encourage my Republican colleagues to do the same. Thank you, and I yield.
Mr. Cole continues to reserve his time. He has 7 minutes remaining. Mr. Gates controls 5 1/2 in this 1-hour debate. The gentleman from Florida is recognized.
I'll reserve.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend and our distinguished conference leader, Ms. Stefanik of New York.
The gentlelady from New York, Ms. Stefanik, is recognized for 2 minutes.
Anyone and everyone who knows Kevin McCarthy, whether they are friend or foe, knows that Kevin McCarthy is a happy warrior. He is tireless. He has that.
Did she say happy warrior?
Under Kevin's speakership that lasted 15 rounds of him never giving up, this Republican majority has exceeded all expectations. We reopened the People's House.
He's a happy man.
Security bill in our nation's history. We passed
He's happy being Speaker of the House.
American energy dominance. We passed defense bills to support our troops. Under Kevin's leadership, he's brought hundreds and hundreds of bipartisan members of Congress to Israel, our greatest ally. He elected the most diverse class,
and that's why we're for it.
Republican women ever in American history. This boy from Bakersfield, he cares deeply about his.
Well, as I said earlier,
and the American people.
Lee Stefanik can be at the order. That's a goddamn. Oh, C-SPAN's like that. That's right.
And has cheered us when we haven't believed in ourselves, which is why the Republicans strongly support Speaker McCarthy and are proud he is our Speaker. And I yield back.
Gentlelady, it was not the intent to cut the gentlelady off, except that we have too much chatter going on in the House chamber. Every member deserves to be heard.
He looks exactly like the motherfucker who would say there's too much chatter.
Please take them from the floor. Gentlelady may continue.
As I have said, this Speaker has been to our districts. He has toasted at our weddings. He has celebrated the birth of our children, mourned the loss of our loved ones.
Nobody gives a shit about that shit.
Republicans must unify. The stakes are too high. We need to save our country, which is why this conference is proud to strongly support Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. I yield back.
Gentleman from Florida.
I would just say if this House of Representatives...
About 5 minutes left on each side.
...all expectations, then we definitely need higher expectations. While it's...
the Democrats get a chuckle out of them.
Calls people on their birthday and visits their district and...
Or gets a chuckle out of the Democrats.
Please note...
About 5 minutes on each side.
...a critique of the individual. It's a critique of the job. The job hasn't been done. We've had multiple contradictory promises, and it's just quite something. For those of you keeping track at home, the last 3 speakers you've heard opposing my resolution all voted for the debt deal. So, if you believe that the debt limit deal that Speaker McCarthy brought into law was a good thing, maybe you agree with their perspective. I think the debt limit deal was a terrible deal, and that's one of the reasons. It really was the original sin of the McCarthy speakership, and it's one of the reasons I seek to vacate the chair now. I reserve.
Gentleman, time is reserved. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my...
Internet looked like it had a brain fart there.
Graves.
Gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Graves, is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the gentleman from Oklahoma for yielding. Mr. Speaker, we've been here for 8 months with one of the tightest majorities in modern history. Yet look at the accomplishments of this majority, this conservative majority, with the majority of Republicans voting for the strongest border security in my lifetime, fighting against this incomprehensible energy policy that's driving up energy costs 40%, utility and gasoline payments, pushing Americans into energy poverty. We passed legislation to unleash America's energy resources, pushing back this administration's brainless policies on energy. We passed legislation to pull back, to stop spending $4.8 trillion that I want to make note. My friends that are carrying this motion to vacate opposed. We've passed legislation to streamline regulations, permitting, environmental laws for the first time in 40 years.
God damn.
My friends here opposed. We strengthened work requirements for welfare to get people back into the workforce. Again, my friends over here opposed. I keep wondering, what is going on? Are we redefining what conservative is? What's going on in this country today? What's going on in this body? Where you have Freedom Works, Heritage, Chip Roy, and Jim Jordan say something's conservative, and these folks say it's not, and they're right. And all of a sudden, my phone keeps sending text messages.
Wait, I don't know which side he's on.
Text messages saying, hey, give me money. Oh, look at that. Oh, look, give me money. I filed the motion to vacate. Using official actions to raise money. It's disgusting. It's what's disgusting.
Oh, damn.
Mr. Speaker,
snap.
Is these folks right here that have brought up this motion to vacate.
As if all of you don't send out fucking fundraising emails on fucking everything.
I want to quote my delegation member, my senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy.
Oh, fuck John Kennedy.
If they're not going to be there to protect us, next time someone invades America, call a crackhead and let me know how that works out for you.
Yield the gentleman another 30 seconds.
Gentleman is recognized for an additional 30 seconds.
A crackhead can fight.
Mr. Speaker, I've heard people talk about bad faith here. I've heard them make reference to this January agreement. My friends from Arizona, Virginia, and Florida. Let me be crystal clear. Not a single one of them were in the room. You know what? The Speaker didn't meet the targets of that January agreement. He exceeded them. The greatest savings in American history. The greatest savings in American history. Mr. Speaker, this isn't about fundraising. This is about our country. It's about our children and our grandchildren. We need to stand behind the slimmest
30
majority.
seconds.
We need to stand behind the greatest speaker in modern history that has delivered the best conservative wins for this country. I yield back.
The gentleman from Florida.
My colleague says we've passed the strongest border bills in history. Well, guess what? Look at the border right now. We didn't use sufficient leverage in the debt limit or in any other thing to actually get results on the border. The border is a disaster, really something I don't think you're going to be campaigning on, that you fixed the border. Second, you said you streamlined regulations. What the gentleman from Louisiana doesn't tell you is that all of the regulatory reform he was just bragging about is waivable by the stroke of a pen of someone in the Biden White House. Do you really think you've got anything for that? It's a total joke. And then finally, the welfare to work that the gentleman from Louisiana said we got. The welfare programs that they said that they streamlined with their welfare to work stuff, they're actually going to grow. Because while they did work requirements, they blew out those programs with expanded eligibility. I'm real glad you guys didn't put work requirements on Medicaid. It probably would have resulted in Medicaid expansion. And when it comes to how those raise money, I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have, oh, boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations.
Damn, Matt Gaetz.
To fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, $10 and $20 and $30 at a time, and you all keep showing up at the lobbyist fundraisers and see how that goes for you. I reserve.
Once again, the chair would admonish those speaking from the floor to direct their comments to the chair. Gentleman from Oklahoma.
Mr. Speaker, I would inquire as to how much time remains for each side.
From Oklahoma controls 3 minutes. The gentleman from Florida has 3 minutes as well.
I advise the gentleman from Florida I'm prepared to close if he is. Mr. Speaker.
Uh-oh, it's time. I was making coffee.
Great friend from North Dakota, Mr. Armstrong.
Gentleman from North.
Somebody wanted Mike Lindell.
Is
I was
recognized with the remaining
Right.
minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's be clear why we're here. Because the incentive structure in this town is completely broken. We no longer value loyalty, integrity, competence, or collaboration. Instead, we have descended to a place where clicks, TV hits, and the never-ending quest for the most mediocre taste of celebrity drives decisions and encourages juvenile behavior that is so far beneath this esteemed body. Kevin McCarthy has done more in 9 months to restore the people's house than any speaker in decades.
You're getting close. Oh, shit.
Regular order. We have had open amendments.
A lot of people watching, I guess.
Every single member of this chamber has the right, the ability, and the opportunity to be heard on the floor. It's been messy, it's been raucous, and at times it's been chaotic. And God bless every minute of it, because democracy is supposed to be hard. And because the alternative is a closed-door process where 2,000-page bills come out of the Speaker's office at midnight and are forced to the floor the next morning. Kevin McCarthy has broken that cycle. That alone is enough for him to remain our Speaker. But that doesn't deliver his opponents what they crave the most: attention. We shouldn't stand for it. I won't stand for it.
I am totally not standing at attention for you, sir.
With our leader, that the overwhelming.
Now the group of ladies and the black guy behind you, that's what I'm totally down with going to that orgy.
In this chamber. They're not over here, they're over there.
But I'm kinky like that.
So we're going to face these challenges together, and I say bring whatever comes next, because we believe in the job you have done, Mr. Speaker. We believe in your vision, and most importantly, we are proud to call Kevin McCarthy our friend and our Speaker of the House. And with that, I yield back.
Oh! Let me get my coffee for this, because I'm gonna have to get a little more high.
Gentleman yields back his time. The gentleman from Florida is recognized with 3 minutes remaining.
To be clear, I tried to get one of the three podiums on the Republican side, and y'all wouldn't let me have them, so you sent me over here. But you know what? I'll make this argument at any desk in this building, from the well, from the chair. I'll make it on every street corner in this country that Washington must change. We have to break the cycle. We have to break the fever. And I would hope, truly, that the reforms that we are fighting for are reforms that would last and be embraced and that would democratize power in this institution beyond
Gates bringing the fire.
Back us up against shutdown politics and Christmases and deadlines in order to achieve their objectives. Mr. Speaker, high inflation is on the verge of bankrupting American families. Our economy is breaking in half. A typical American family can't afford to buy a house in 99% of U.S. counties. Inflation is stealing more than $700.
I mean, he's right, but he's wrong about what he wants to do about it.
Nearly $9,000 a year. Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he has failed to take a stand where it matters. So if he won't, I will. I make no apologies for defending the right of every hardworking American to afford a decent life for themselves and their families, and we have a greater opportunity to do that and to build coalitions under new leadership. We have to rip off the Band-Aid. We have to get back on a better course. And Mr. Speaker, I don't know how this vote's going to go. Usually when a vote comes to this floor, it's pretty predetermined. And this one, I'm not so sure. But
I'm not so sure either. That's why we're watching it.
That this place deserves single-subject spending bills.
That's why I'm packing a bong.
To read a bill. That something that spends more than $100 million shouldn't be put on the suspension agenda such that we can't amend it. And there shouldn't be secret side deals made on a continuing resolution to lump Ukraine in with border security. That is not right for Ukraine or border security, because it fails to give either of those issues the dignity that they would require. But we can return that dignity to this House. We can get back on a better path. We can have single subject appropriations bills. We can set a budget top line.
Oh yeah, I'm totally into this.
Since I was in high school. So let's get a budget. Let's get our act together. Let's
chaos in Congress.
Let's vacate the chair, and let's get a better speaker. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back his time.
But who? Kevin McCarthy's just going to come out on the other side of the speaker, I would assume.
Resolution. The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The noes have it. The resolution is, gentleman from Florida.
I'd request the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the
Here we go.
Rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Pursuant to Clause 3 of Rule 20, the chair directs the clerk to conduct the vote by a call of the roll. The clerk will call the roll alphabetically by surname. The House will be in order.
I think we're all fucking hyped, Warlord.
The clerk may call the roll.
Smokey's hyped.
Yay. Adderholt. Nay. Aguilar. Yay. Alford. Nay.
Remember, this is a vote to vacate. Yeas are voting to oust McCarthy.
All red. Yay. Amaday. Nay. Armstrong. No. Arrington. Nay.
Expect the 213, 214 Democrats that are present, 212,
Yay.
something like that, that are
Babbitt.
present to all vote
Nay.
yay.
Bacon. Nay. Bear.
With the 6 that have pledged to vote with McCarthy, that gives them a majority in the vote.
Nay. Balance. Yay. Banks.
This is historic if it happens.
Banks.
If McCarthy is ousted. Yeeted from Congress.
Nay.
Or at least from the speakership.
Farragon. Farragon. Yay.
But he won't last much longer either.
Nay.
Boehner and Ryan both survived, but left Congress
Yay.
shortly after. They were done with the bullshit.
Vance.
There was a motion to vacate on both Boehner and
Barra.
Paul Ryan. Both of them survived, but both of them left Congress shortly after.
Bergman. No. Nay. Fire. Yay. Vice. Nay. Biggs. Yay.
Just the fact that there's a vote against McCarthy doesn't bode well for his political future.
Bishop of Georgia. Yes. Yay. Bishop of North Carolina. Yay. Nay.
But I do think the party establishment sees him as integral to the future. He's a California Republican.
Yay. Blunt Rochester.
I think they want to start making moves in California because there are more Republicans than people like to admit.
Nay.
People laughing at Boebert.
Yay. Bost. Nay. Bowman. Yay.
Ring the alarm.
Boyle of Pennsylvania. Yay. Burkeen. Nay. Brown. Yay. Brownlee. Yay. Buchanan. Nay. Buck. Yay. Bouchon. No.
It looks like the magic number is 214.
Bazinski. Yay. Burchett. Yay. Burgess. Nay. Burleson. Nay. Bush. Bush.
It does not look like the math is on McCarthy's side.
Kamek. Kamek. Caraveo. Yay. Carbajal. Yay.
Oh, this vote is going to take so much longer.
Cardenas.
We're only in the C's.
Yay. Carey. No. Nay. Carl.
This is like 10 minutes, 15 minutes
Carson.
at least.
Yay. Carter of Georgia. Nay. Carter of Louisiana.
I mean, unless there's a surprise and Democrats bail him out, he's done. He has vacated the
Carter.
speakership.
Cartwright. Yay. Kassar. Yay. Case.
See if I can get you some kind of on-screen tally.
Yay. Caston. Yay. Castor of Florida. Yay. Castro of Texas. Yay. Chavez de Reamer. Nay. Sharfelis McCormick. Yay. Chu. Yay. Cisco Mani. Nay. Clark of Massachusetts. Yay. Clark of New York.
Trying to get you some kind of a graphic that has a vote count on it.
Yay. Klein. Nay. Cloud. Nay. Clyburn. Yay. Clyde. Nay. Cohen. Yay. Cole. Nay. Collins. Nay. Comer. Nay. Connolly. Yay. Correa. Yay. Costa. Yay. Courtney. Yay. Craig. Yay. Crane. Yay. Crawford. Nay. Crenshaw.
You know, oh my God, I'm gonna miss it.
Nay.
You know what I would do if I had the chance? I would piss in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole.
Crow.
Hold on, I got a vote tally here.
Cuellar. Yay. Curtis. Nay. Davis of Kansas. Yay. Davidson. Nay. Davis of Illinois. Yay.
I'm
Davis
working
of
this
North
shit
Carolina.
in real time.
Yay. Dean of Pennsylvania. Yay. DeGette. Yay. Dela Cruz. Nay. DeLauro. Yay. Del Bene. Yay. DeLuzio. Yay. Desaulniers. Yay. Desjardins. Nay. D'Esposito. Nay. Diaz-Balart. Nay. Dingle. Yay.
Dingle.
Doggett. Yay. Donalds. Nay. Duarte. No. Nay. Duncan. Nay. Dunn of Florida.
CNN.
Nay. Edwards.
Took me a little bit to find some place
Nay.
that had one.
Elsie.
Dingle. There we go. That's perfect.
Emmer.
That's where we want it.
Nay. Escobar. Yay. Eshue. Yay. Espaillat. Yay. Estes. Nay. Evans.
Yes.
Yay. Ezell. Nay. Fallon. Nay. Finstra. Nay. Ferguson. No.
They had said they would not rescue McCarthy.
Nay.
So I'm gonna be surprised if he wins.
Nay. Fitzgerald. Nay. Fitzpatrick. Nay. Fleischman. Nay. Fletcher.
69 yeses thus far.
Flood.
Nice.
Nay. Foster.
So far, it looks like they will.
Fushi. Yay. Fox. Nay. Lois Frankel. Yay. C. Scott Franklin.
5 Republicans have already voted yes.
Frost.
That if every Democrat votes,
Fry.
which it looks like they're going to, 69 Democrats have voted yes.
Fulcher.
Nice.
Nay.
Then McCarthy is gone.
Gates.
It's gone. Like he's gone. He's gone.
Yay.
It's over. That's the math. The math.
Nay.
There's no other way around it.
Take your 33
Yay.
and a third chance minus my
Garamendi.
25% chance, and you got an 8
Yay.
and a third chance of winning.
I can't believe I'm watching this. I didn't think this was going to happen today.
Nay. Mike Garcia.
Wow.
Nay.
Wow, wow, wow.
Robert Garcia. Yay. Garcia of Illinois. Yay. Garcia of Texas. Yay. Jimenez. Nay. Golden of Maine. Yay. Goldman of New York.
I'm so glad we got the counter now.
Yay. Gomez. Yay.
It's just slightly behind, but it's like the
Tony Gonzalez.
delay you would face on YouTube.
Tony Gonzalez.
Oh, come on, Tony.
Vicente Gonzalez. Yay. Good of Virginia. Yay.
There's not going to be a fucking history class in 60 years, PP girl. If humanity survives, we're going to be like, a far more basic civilization.
Nay. Gottheimer. Yay. Granger. Nay. Graves of Louisiana. Nay.
How are you not already leading the
Graves
sex
of
cult?
Missouri. Nay. Green of Tennessee.
No.
Nay. Green of Texas. Yay. Green.
I ask you for a speech.
Nay. Griffith.
As the black dude with the beard.
Nay.
Green from Georgia.
Grijalva. Yay. Grothman.
He's cool in my book, but he gets all speechified every time he takes a vote.
Nay.
Just asking your fucking vote, yay or nay, motherfucker.
Nay.
Don't need to be cute about it.
Hageman.
That's what they used to tell me when they'd take roll and I would do some kind of fucking stand-up routine or some shit.
Yay. Harris.
Asking if you're here or not.
Nay.
Don't need to be cute about it.
Nay. Hayes. Yes. Yay. Hearn. Nay.
Being asexual is deviant.
Of Louisiana.
It's a deviant behavior in our hypersexualized culture,
Higgins
Sky
of
Comet.
New York.
Our weird, repressed, puritanical, hypersexualized culture. It's the weirdest goddamn thing.
Times. Yay. Henson. Nay. Horsford.
No, being healthy in your asexuality
Nay.
would qualify as sexual anarchy.
Yay. Hoyer.
You get Charlie Kirk's scorn.
You live in sexual
Hoyer.
anarchy.
Yay.
Eddie
Hoyle
Hoyer.
of Oregon.
He voted yay.
Yay.
I can't imagine a Dem votes the other way at this point.
Huffman. Yay.
6 Republicans.
Nay. Hunt.
That's Mike Hunt.
Hunt.
Mike Hunt.
Isa. Nay.
Oh, yeah, how did he even sneak his way? I always say that every time he pops up.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that motherfucker left in shame.
Of Illinois. Yay. Jackson of North Carolina. Yay.
Fair enough, Sky Comet.
Texas.
For some people, imagination is wonderful, you know?
Jackson Lee.
You don't need anything else.
Yay.
I totally dig it.
Jacobs. Yay.
I can see, I find about everyone attractive, and I can see how the opposite could be true. That one could find everyone unattractive.
Jayapal. Yay. Jeffries. Yay. Johnson of Georgia. Yay. Johnson of Louisiana. Nay. Johnson of Ohio.
They do have electronic voting for most
Johnson of
votes.
South Dakota.
But this is one of those where they have to take a roll call under the rules.
Joyce of Ohio. Nay.
Oh no, I'm totally ugly, Sky Comet.
Nay.
I'm aware of
Ken
this
Lover
fact.
Dove.
I miss my long hair.
Yay. Captor.
That was an emphatic yay.
Yay. Kane of New Jersey. Nay.
To 100
Keating.
Democrats.
Yay. Kelly of Illinois. Yay. Kelly of Mississippi. Nay. Kelly of Pennsylvania.
Absolutely not.
Nay.
Absolutely not.
Yay. Kiggins of Virginia.
I don't know what happens next. Do we go straight into a vote for the speakership?
Yay. Kylie. Nay. Kilmer. Yay. Kim of California. Nay. Kim of New Jersey.
I mean, it's good content for me, Dustin.
Krishnamurthy.
Oh, it was 420. I didn't even notice. I'm so fucking sorry. I'm a horrible. I don't have it on here. I have a holiday set up, and that's what's got the 420.
LaHood.
Could have done the whole countdown, everything.
LaLota. Nay.
I can't imagine it's not Kevin McCarthy.
Nay.
There's the outside possibility that it's Hakeem Jeffries.
Lamborn, nay. Landsman. Yay. Langworthy. Nay.
That somehow Kevin McCarthy makes some kind of concession.
Yay. Larson of Connecticut. Yay. Latta.
If that is not a thing, then Steve Scalise and Elise Stefanik are the next two in line.
Nay.
In the succession order of the Republican congressional figures.
Lee of California. Yay. Lee of Florida. Nay. Lee of Nevada. Yay.
So Steve Scalise would be your next in line.
Yay. Ledger Fernandez. Yay.
So it's
Lesko.
Is it possible? Like it's possible Speaker Scalise is the.
Nay.
I don't know what the. If I had betting odds right now, I've got Kevin McCarthy is more than likely going to come out of this as the Speaker of the House.
Lofgren.
I guess the next most likely would be that Steve Scalise would come out as the Speaker of the House. And then the third most likely scenario puts Hakeem Jeffries as the Speaker of the House.
Nay. Luetkemeyer. Nay. Luna.
We're only like halfway through the alphabet.
Luna.
What L is like the what? The 12th letter? 13th? I don't fucking know.
Lynch. Yes. Yay. Mace. Yay.
Stefanik would also be interesting.
Yay. Maliotakis.
Because Steve Scalise has blood cancer, is being treated for blood cancer at the moment.
Man.
Look at the Democratic side. It's so much younger and more diverse. Oh, goddamn.
Yay. Massey. Nay.
When did I do a racism this time? Not that I'm like opposed to doing a racism.
Absolutely.
That seems to happen. I don't mean it.
McBath. Yay. McCall. No. Nay. McLean.
Politically, good evening.
Nay.
That's what we were just talking about. Like, I guess the odds, to me, the odds are that, Kevin McCarthy comes out of this as Speaker.
Nay.
The next in line is Steve Scalise, so he's probably the next most likely person.
Yay.
And there's the outside possibility that Hakeem Jeffries becomes Speaker of the House.
McCormick. No. Nay. McGarvey. Yay. McGovern. Yay.
As we saw the last time, McCarthy nominated him a couple different times.
Meeks. Yay. Menendez. Yay. Ming. Yay. Muser.
Bueller.
Yay. Mfume. Yay.
You do and you'll clean it up.
Miller of Illinois. Nay.
Oh, that's kind of racist.
Miller
That's kind of
of
racist.
Ohio. Nay. Miller of West Virginia. Nay. Miller Meeks. Nay. Mills. Mills.
Meek Mills.
Molinaro. Nay.
An era.
Molinar. Nay.
See, that was kind of racist too.
Mooney. Nay.
Got a full Mooney. And that's how you make fun of somebody's name and not be racist about it.
Moore of Alabama. Nay.
Barry Moore is a stupid son
Moore
of a bitch.
Utah. Nay. Moore of Wisconsin. Yay. Moran. Nay. Morelli.
7 Republicans. The Republicans snuck up on me there. It is over.
Yay.
It is for sure. Kevin McCarthy does not have the votes.
Yay. Mervan. Yay. Mullen. Yay. Murphy. Nay.
It doesn't look like Gates is going to lose.
Yay. Napolitano.
You know, it's not just that the Democrats
Neal. Yay.
didn't save him. It's that they actively voted for the resolution to
Yay.
remove him. They could have just voted present
Nay.
and lowered the threshold.
Newhouse.
They could have just not shown up for the vote.
Nay.
But they
Nickel.
they voted in the affirmative to remove him, emboldening the 7 far right,
Norman.
8 far right
Nay.
lunatics
None of Iowa.
that want to
Nay.
cause chaos in the Republican caucus. And I'm here for it. We're all here for it. That's as several people pointed out. That opens up the possibility that Hakeem Jeffries becomes the Speaker of the House, because the Democrats are going to vote in lockstep for Hakeem Jeffries.
Yay. Owens. Nay. Pallone. Yay. Palmer. Nay. Panetta. Yay.
It's
Pappas.
3 or 4 seats clinically. I'm not exactly sure, but there are. Warlord, what did you say? There were 5 Democrats and 3 Republicans missing.
Payne. Yay. Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi is not there.
Pelosi. Peltola. Peltola. Pence.
As of the election, it was
Nay.
222 Republicans, 213
Perez.
Democrats. As of the last
Yay.
year, but I feel like there's been
Perry.
a couple of special elections.
Nay.
That puts the swing at actually 9 towards Republicans.
Yay. Pedersen. Yay. Pfluger. Nay. Phillips. Yay. Pingree. Yay. Pocan. Yay. Porter.
See if Wikipedia has like a
Yay.
current.
Posey.
Or-
Nay. Presley. Yay. Quigley. Yay. Ramirez. Yay. Raskin. Yay.
It's 9 seats currently.
Nay. Rogers of Washington. Nay. Rogers of
There's
Alabama.
like one vacant.
Nay. Rogers of Kentucky. Nay. Rose. Nay. Rosendale. Yay.
God damn.
Nay. Ruiz. Yay. Rupersberger.
I don't know what the process would be like after this. Do we go straight into a vote for speaker?
Nay. Ryan. Yay. Salazar. Nay. Salinas.
8 Republicans.
Yay. Sanchez. Yay. Santos.
I wasn't prepared to be doing this all goddamn day.
Sarbanes. Yay. Scalise. Nay.
Here we are. We'll do it.
Yay. Schakowsky. Yay. Schiff. Yay. Snyder.
I mean, it's possible they could call for a recess and come back tomorrow.
Yay. Schreier. Yay. Swikert. Nay.
Tell me to get some more coffee.
Austin
'Cause
Scott.
I'm not high enough for this shit. I got cotton mouth.
Nay. David Scott. Yay. Scott of Virginia. Yay. Self. Nay. Sessions. Nay. Sewell. Yay. Sherman. Yay. Cheryl. Yay. Simpson. Nay.
That's awesome. I love those mugs. They're real
Yay.
real wide.
Smith of Missouri.
They're good for eating soup and shit out of.
Nay. Smith of Nebraska. Nay. Smith of New Jersey. Nay. Smith of Washington. Yay. Smucker.
Smugger.
Nay. Sorensen.
Figured there'd be like 10 Smiths.
Yay. Soto. Yay. Spamberger. Yay. Sparts. Nay. Stansberry. Yay.
Stinchberry. Now I'm reduced to making fun of people's names.
Yay. Stauber. Nay.
What have I become?
Steele. No. Stefanik. Nay. Style.
Couldn't help it. Her name was Business.
Stubbe.
I mean, I guess she could because she took it was the name she took when she married her husband.
Yay. Strickland. Yay.
That's what I'm saying, Sky Comet. I feel like I'm the voice for this time. Like everything about the news is absurd, so it deserves like a somebody being absurdist in the coverage of it. We're gonna take the Troll Patrol mainstream. You're gonna be watching it on like ABC.
Takano.
And if you
Yay. Tenney. Nay. Tanadar. Yay. Thompson of California. Yay.
Yay.
Thompson of Mississippi. Yay. Thompson of Pennsylvania.
I was
Yay.
against streaming for the longest time
Tiffany.
because I thought I was above it. I thought I was gonna work
Nay.
for a network or some shit.
Timmons. Nay. Titus. Yay. Talib. Yay.
My girlfriend in college wanted to do porn. I was like, we're above it, you know. We're like, we can't have our faces or anything on that kind of media because it will ruin our reputations because we're serious
Torres of
people.
California.
It was like right before OnlyFans started.
Taurus of New York.
I would have been a fucking like, and she was a redhead.
Yeah.
I would have been like, she had multiple like different categories she fell into. I would have been a goddamn millionaire right now. Had access to all kinds of fucking equipment because I worked in the broadcasting department.
Yay. Turner.
I loved her and she broke my heart.
Underwood. Yay.
But if I had, you know, not been uptight about doing porn, I probably would have still been with her. I still thought like I was
Van Dyne.
above,
Nay.
you know, like I wasn't even calling myself JustinFREAKIN. I was like, if I become JustinFREAKIN on the internet, like that's it. I'm committed to it, right?
Yay. Vasquez.
So I didn't even adopt the JustinFREAKIN until like 2017, and be like me on the internet.
Yay. Velasquez. Yes. Wagner. Nay. Nay. Wahlberg. Nay. Waltz. Nay.
We're getting close.
Wasserman Schultz. Yay.
Coming towards the end of the alphabet. 8 Republicans.
Yay. Watson Coleman. Yay. Weber of Texas.
I will smoke to this. God damn, I'm running on coffee and alcohol, or coffee and alcohol, coffee and weed.
Nay. Winstrup. Nay. Westerman. Nay. Wexton. Yay.
Well, you can see that the Republican vote is way behind.
Yay. Williams of Georgia. Yay. Williams of New York. Nay. Williams of Texas. Nay. Wilson of Florida. Yay. Wilson of South Carolina.
Damn, the tally hasn't moved in a little bit. But I think it's over 218 now.
Nay. Womack.
No.
Nay. Yackham.
Agam.
Nay. Zinke.
Trackball.
Nay.
Ryan Zinke wanted to make a whole show of it.
McCarthy.
Yeah, our vote tally isn't updating. What the fuck, CNN?
Amick, Carter of Texas. I have Tony Gonzalez. I have Gooden of Texas. I have Luna. I have McCarthy. I have Mills. I have Pelosi. I have Vitale. And then I have Sykes. Okay, so
You ready to move?
now I've got to go through these.
Are you good?
House will be in order. The clerk will now call the names of members that have not already been recorded alphabetically.
Banks. Nay.
We've got Bush is next.
Bush. Bush.
Corey Bush.
Okay, Kamek's next.
Kamek. Nay.
Okay, I've got Carter of Texas next.
Carter of Texas. Carter of Texas.
So then we're going to go to Tony Gonzalez. This is what I need. Okay.
Tony Gonzalez. Nay.
Tony.
Have Gooden of Texas.
Gooden of Texas. Gooden of Texas.
Next I have is Luna. Right? I will, I have Luna.
Luna. Luna.
Mills next.
Anna Paulina Luna. Florida.
Mills.
Meek Mills.
Nay.
Pelosi.
Pelosi. Pelosi.
Apparently not in the chamber today.
Peltola. Peltola.
Mary Patola's husband just died in a plane crash last week. So her not being in the chamber is totally understandable.
Sykes. Sykes.
I don't believe they're allowed to have their phones on the floor.
Are there other members in this body
Have to be completely silenced.
who have not been recorded or who wish to change their vote?
There it is. Yeas have it. I don't think Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker of the House any longer. That's hilarious, Scott Gomet.
Have you got the tally?
Well, I tried to vote anyway. She wouldn't have known whether she was in the Senate or the House.
On this vote, the yeas are 216. The nays are 210. The resolution is adopted Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Wow. Did not expect this to occur. I will smoke to that. Kevin McCarthy. I mean, I did kind of like, we knew this moment was coming. I just didn't think, this is like the first time in 100 years. Oh, this is the first time in 100 years they had this vote. Is this the first time it's ever actually succeeded? I heard the statistic that it was the first time in 100 years that this vote had occurred.
House will come to order. The chair lays before the House a communication.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives.
We averted a shutdown.
This is to notify you that the first name on the letter received by the clerk pursuant to Clause 8B, 3B of Rule 1 is the Honorable Patrick T. McHenry of North Carolina. Signed sincerely, Kevin F. McCumber, Acting Clerk.
Pursuant to Clause 8B,
the Orville Weidenbacher is now presiding over the House.
Speaker Pro Tem. The chair will inform the members of the House the following. The office of the Speaker was rendered vacant pursuant to the adoption of House Resolution 757. Upon a vacancy in the office of Speaker, Clause 8B3 of Rule 1 provides that the next member on a list submitted by the Speaker.
Well, we do have another shutdown coming in 45 days. That could be what DJ Dub was referring to.
Until the election of a new Speaker, and bestows the authorities of the office of Speaker upon the Speaker Pro Tem.
The run up to another shutdown.
Necessary and appropriate to that end. In the opinion of the chair, prior to proceeding to the election of a Speaker, it would be prudent to first recess for the relative caucus and conferences to meet and discuss the path forward.
That's kind of what I figured would happen.
Accordingly, pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess subject to the call of the chair.
Was he angry? So we're not in recess until tomorrow. I don't know what subject to the chair means. Because they're going to have to talk it over, right? They're going to have to go back and forth with their respective caucuses and discuss who they're going to nominate and shit. But I would have thought they would have recessed until like tomorrow at noon. So I don't know what to do at this point in time. They're probably going to be gone for at least a couple of hours. This could be leading to a vote tonight. Let's go back to Al Jazeera where we were at earlier. I'm not a wage slave. I don't make a wage. The House has voted to remove McCarthy as Speaker. The vote means there will be no Speaker in the chamber until a successor is selected. Reaching the party unity needed to choose a Speaker has in the past proven a lengthy process, although the position must be filled for many key functions of the chamber to continue. The next steps were not immediately clear, and no legislators had immediately put themselves forward to replace McCarthy. Go to PBS or Washington Post or something.
Some of their efforts, Rhonda, saying he wasn't going to make deals. And so they're essentially on the sidelines, and it was up to Republicans to save their own speaker, and they chose not to do so. Just a handful, under a dozen Republicans voted to remove him from the speakership. I want to go to Philip Bump to get your reaction on what just happened. Philip?
Yeah, I mean, my reaction is that Kevin McCarthy made his bed, and then he woke up in his bed, and all of a sudden he had no bed, right? To extend a very weird metaphor. I mean, yeah, the Republican caucus has been uncontrollable.
Yeah, I was going to smoke to that.
Basically since 2011, right? So we had Dennis Hassford, he was the Speaker of the House, he left. John Boehner steps up, he becomes the leader of the Republican caucus, he eventually becomes Speaker. John Boehner in 2015, October 2015, says, yeah, I can't do this anymore. The Tea Party that started in 2011 had really put a lot of pressure on the establishment, was reshaping what it meant to be a Republican elected official, and Boehner gave up. So Paul Ryan steps in. Paul Ryan eventually says, you know what, I'm not going to run for re-election. Like, I can't do this. McCarthy steps in then as the leader of the caucus. He's in the minority, as we just mentioned. Being in the minority, they can do, because the minority is just saying no to everything. But when your caucus is just saying no to everything and you're in the majority, that's when you're in trouble. And so Kevin McCarthy, in order to get this position, makes this agreement where they can call for a vote to vacate, and then all of a sudden there's a motion to vacate, and he gets vacated, or the seat gets vacated, and here we are. And the real question is, now what? Like, is there anyone that can do this and can get the entire Republican caucus pointed in the same direction with this very narrow 9-seat majority? I think the easy answer to that is no, there's not.
Thank you so much, Philip Bump. Leanne Caldwell now joins us live on Capitol Hill. Leanne, what is the mood among Republicans
what is next?
at this hour?
Interview somebody.
Goodness, Libby, it is somber. So it was so fascinating to watch the House floor for the last several hours leading up to this vote. Republicans were in their seats. It doesn't usually happen throughout votes and throughout debate. Not a lot of chatter, not a lot of milling about the hallway or aisleways. Lots of arms crossed in front of their chests. And now this was the big moment. This is the first time that this has ever happened in House history. And immediately after the vote, many lawmakers were going out, shaking Kevin McCarthy's hand, giving him a hug. But this is going to be a moment for Republicans to have to choose what direction they're going to go in. We have sources who are saying that they are just going to renominate Kevin McCarthy for the Speaker's post.
That's what I would think.
They end up doing that. That was the plan as of a few hours ago, should this motion to vacate have failed, which it now has. But what's happening is they are now retreating into their conference rooms, and they're going to discuss. They're going to discuss a way forward. And I expect, behind those closed doors, that Republicans are going to have a very candid and perhaps very feisty and perhaps very tense conversation, especially if those who voted to oust Kevin McCarthy attend that meeting.
Leanne, could there be a move to punish Matt Gaetz and some of his allies, whether it's trying to remove him from positions of power or even the conference itself? Is that even possible?
Oh, shit.
Question about the conference itself. There is attempts, there will likely be attempts to oust.
Today's debate here on C-SPAN, and that argument being made by Matt Gaetz, who is the one that put forth this motion to what they call is vacate the speakership, a motion to remove Kevin McCarthy from this post. You may have noticed when you were watching today's debate that Matt Gaetz was over on the Democratic side. Jake Sherman of Punch.
He asked for a podium
to speak from the Democratic side of the House chamber because allies of Kevin McCarthy blocked all the other microphones. So that is why he was on that side of the aisle.
He wanted to be on the Republican side.
Olivia Beavers, who also covers Capitol Hill, with this tweet: there's a group of House Republicans huddled and praying on the House floor, she says right now. Representative Ann Wagner appears to be crying. We will see here for Kevin McCarthy and for the House Republicans, the majority that controls the lower chamber of this Congress. Of the 8 Republicans who voted to push out Kevin McCarthy, they were Representatives Biggs, Buck, Burchett, Crane, Gaetz, Good, Nancy Mace, and Matt Rosendale. Those 8 voted along with all the Democrats to remove Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. Arjun in Whittier, California.
I honestly don't know how you go back to your constituents and say you voted with the Democrats if you're the far-right Republican.
Is that how you pronounce your name in Whittier, California?
Yes, I'm from Irvine, California.
All right. We're listening to you. Go ahead. What do you think of what happened today in the House?
I think it's incredibly foolish. I think Congressman Gates is doing this strictly for publicity reasons. If Republicans are going to want to win in 2024, we need to show that we're the party of unity. With all the chaos and dysfunction that's going on in the Democrat Party, it's foolish for the Republicans to make such a bold stand like this. I think we need to get our act together.
Oh my God. Hold on. I gotta go to the C-SPAN website. Independent line.
Hello.
Hi, Liam. We're listening to you. Liam.
I think that. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
I think that this really harms our nation as a whole. It basically cripples our government and it makes us look like a joke on the world stage. Our
government was already crippled.
To show that we're a strong nation. I think the Congress as a whole needs to really kind of just get its act together and come together and just really, function and do its job, really. I think this really shows that we're incredibly divided as a country and we really need to come together.
All right.
Not that divided, honestly.
Leonard in Virginia, Democratic caller. Leonard.
Yes. So I think that, it was sad what just happened on our House floor. It's very historic. However,
sad.
This is the fate of when you endorse the far-right politics of our country. This is what happens when you see the arrival of the Tea Party come and infiltrate your party. Now Kevin McCarthy has to live with that decision that he made and the deals that he made with those individuals, and now our country has to suffer because of it. So this is what happens when you embrace that far-right ideology. Thank you.
All right, Leonard's thoughts. A Democratic caller in Virginia. We're getting your thoughts this afternoon after 1 hour of debate and a vote was approved to push out Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House of Representatives. There are the lines on your screen, so keep dialing in. Teresa.
Yeah, I thought I could be a host on C-SPAN.
Teresa, are you a supporter or an opponent of Kevin McCarthy?
Well, I'm not necessarily a supporter or an opponent of a person, but a system.
Okay.
And I think that Matt Gaetz is grandstanding. He's trying to push his political career.
Well, that's totally true.
To be governor of Florida now. He's been doing a lot of fundraising. But I think that what he did today was...
Well, I thought he wanted to be
bad for our
senator.
country, because now he's shut down anything that could be done. And they knew that the Democrats would all vote 100% together because they don't have any individuality. They
I
can't
can totally see him being governor, though.
or they're canceled, or they're afraid. I don't know what it is. But every single time, the Democrats will vote together. And Matt Gaetz made them very happy today. He took his personal agenda, he put it on the floor, and he acted like a brat. And the thing of it is our country is in a terrible position. We don't have time for grandstanding and individuals standing up there and crying, boo-hoo, I didn't get my way. Meanwhile, now, nothing gets done. Kevin McCarthy is one man. He cannot do anything by himself.
Just a man.
Everybody needs to remember that. This body is a collective. It is not one man's ability to do anything on his own. And the thing of it is we look stupid again. The Republican Party needs to get it together. They need to become cohesive, and they need to work on the issues that the American people are concerned about, not all this baby stuff. In my opinion, Matt Gaetz did a terrible blow to our system today.
Teresa, you're blaming Congressman Gaetz. What about the 7 others that voted with him?
Well, sadly, there are always people that vote like that. We know that. It's a collective body. And they owe each other favors. They scratch each other's back. We know how the system works. I'm just talking about him because
I'm not sure you do, ma'am.
he stood up and vehemently fought for it. He doesn't like Kevin McCarthy. We know that. They don't like each other.
You would think the average C-SPAN caller would be pretty
I personally think he brought his
intelligent.
personal vendetta to the fore.
However,
I think that's what he did. Yes, other people voted with him, a few of them, and 100% the Democrats. So they're very happy today because a fellow Republican came up on the floor and gave them a happy birthday cake. So I hope Matt's happy that he's pretty much shut us down. Nothing will get done now.
Who got cake?
Nothing will be able to get passed. It's going to just be a stalemate. So I hope he got what he wanted, which is his face all in the news, his opinions all out there. Look at me, look at me. I feel sorry for him. I really do. He's acting like a child.
All right, Teresa. Well, more from Olivia Beavers.
she's kind of right on a lot of things.
GOP is holding a conference meeting at 6:30 p.m. And Jake Sherman of Punchbowl News saying, here's what they're expecting. Everyone will be looking to see if Congressman Kevin McCarthy tries to run for speaker again. 8 no votes may be too much to overcome. And even if he could, he may not want the job anymore. We'll see. Once McCarthy is out, if he decides not to seek the speakership again, Jake Sherman says the real jockeying.
I mentioned that earlier.
Florida, Democratic caller. Let's hear from you.
Like 2 Republicans in a row have said, "Nuh-uh, I'm done with this shit."
Oh, I'm sorry. You said Florida. I wasn't sure if it was me. But here we go again.
Is this me?
The Gates clown show continues. I'm just beyond anything that has happened within the last year or so. It's not going to get better. I expect to see things really get blown out of proportion. I am very saddened. And here in Florida, look like we did it again. We keep the clown show going. Thank you.
Paul in Camden, Wyoming, Democratic caller. Hi, Paul.
Hi. I just want to say this has been a giant clown show, and the Republicans...
A Republican. Hi, Quincy.
I'm Paul.
You know, what's happening here is a real shame.
Oh, yeah, you sound like a Republican.
A handful of Republicans who don't put party first.
What's happening here is a real shame.
Don't really care about getting the job done for the American people. Kevin McCarthy was really doing good work. But there are a handful of people who put themselves before their party.
Nerd.
And they do these crazy things that are truly against what Republicans have been doing this whole time, and that is trying to make America great.
And now I'm mocking him trying to make America great.
Matt Gaetz
Now I'm mocking him for his voice.
Made this move, or back to
just childish.
Who argue we need regular order, that this is about the budgets and the appropriations bills, and that it was only when
somebody think of the budget.
Kevin McCarthy's hand that he started to do appropriations bills one by one. But then Matt Gaetz and others have argued he went, they say, and made secret deals on Ukraine funding, etc. What do you make of that argument?
Trying to keep our government open is the most important thing we have to do. You know, keeping the government open means troops get to be paid. And they are...
I was wondering where we were going with that.
...that the government is supposed to protect. Matt Gaetz wanted the government to shut down. He wanted the government to shut down to prove a point, and so that he can become governor of Florida. And all of those Republicans are truly out of their mind for what they did. And it saddens me. This is a sad day in our country.
All right. 8 Republicans.
Sad day. A day that will live in infamy.
To remove Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. Some texts from our viewers, and here is one. Excellent move. Be on notice, professional politicians. If you don't represent the people who elected versus the party, your jobs will be in jeopardy. And another one from Malik, a Democrat. Really foolish for Democrats to engage in this publicity stunt. Should have used this as an opportunity to seek...
No way. There's no way people believe that.
...of the country's needs. And Corey, Democrat from Virginia, I think this was foolish. As a Democrat, Kevin did what he had to do in order to avoid a shutdown. I am very disappointed in the Democratic Party.
Who are these people?
Together, this shows weakness, is what Corey had to say. We're getting your text messages, and we'll take your phone calls and your posts on Facebook as well this afternoon. Carla in Wayne City, Illinois, Republican. Carla, let's hear from you next.
Yeah, I've been watching this since Kevin McCarthy ran, and back when he was running, he promised that he would not cross party lines. He'd do what he could for the American people. And here, the past 2 times they've had DRs, he's made a deal with Joe Biden, went against the party. Then he decided to go for the CR this time and went against the party and crossed party lines and went to the Democrats. So to me, I think it's a good thing that Matt Gaetz called this vacate the chair, because I agree with Matt Gaetz.
Because
everything should be done appropriately.
Because Kevin McCarthy did govern.
Time, and there should never be any CR period.
All right, Carla, who should replace? Who should the Republicans elect as their?
Do you think this woman knows what a CR is?
Well, Steve Scalise is good. Jim Jordan. Byron Donalds. There's several that would be good, but I can't see.
Jim Jordan, Speaker of the House, Jim Jordan.
McCarthy did what he did, and when he makes promises, the old saying, you write checks that your butt can't cash. That's what happens.
All right, Carla.
He made a double deal.
He has terrible taste in men.
Folks who are in support of Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. Alexander in Los Angeles, Independent. Hi, Alexander.
Hi, Greta. Thanks for having me. I love your show. I love your work. I'm a true independent. I voted for the Green Party in 2016, 2020. I'll vote for Cornel West 2024. I think that this is a genius political moves by both men. I think McCarthy did his job to keep the government open. And I think that Gaetz is doing what he needs to do to kind of show that, hey, we need to go back to regular order. Our system is broken, and we need someone to come in and say, hey, look, let us try to put it on the right path. So I think people are saying that this is overblowing this by saying that, oh, this is the worst day of our government or anything like that. I think that this is politics. I think that it's a beautiful move by both men.
Okay. Alexander there in California. Caleb, Broomfield, Colorado.
Sky Comet.
Hi, Caleb.
They're both morons.
Wanted to call and talk about how there's a complete sideshow going on with grandstanding and wonderful speeches from the Republican side. It's just everything they commit to is a non-starter. I disagree with Kevin McCarthy about everything else, but if he has one thing, he can make a deal. And that's how our government functions. Whatever Matt Gaetz is doing is not healthy for our government, not healthy for how the House works. I think it's an absolute non-starter for the people, which we should be putting over party.
All right, Caleb's thoughts are in Colorado. Nancy Mace, the congresswoman from South Carolina, was one of the Republicans who voted to remove Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. Max Cohen caught up with her. Here's a quote. If you promise women you're going to help them, you damn better well do it, Nancy Mace says. She says she's frustrated no votes were scheduled on increasing access to birth control. So that is why she voted to remove Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. Reaction from the Senate from Alex Bolton, a longtime Capitol Hill reporter. Senator John Cornyn reacts to the ouster of Kevin McCarthy. These insurgents have no plan. And now they've created even more chaos, and it's not good for the House. It's not good for Republicans, and they have no clear path forward, he said. Senator John Cornyn, Republican of Texas. PJ in Tucson, Arizona, Independent. Hi, PJ.
Hey, so I'll just say, first off, I'm a former Republican turned independent, partially by some of the antics of the party today. But I think 2022 is a pretty clear message of just anti-chaos. That's why Mike Lawler wins a Democrat plus 10 district. Jeremy Majewski loses a Trump plus 2 district. And people like Matt Gaetz, who do not represent the center of the country whatsoever, don't understand what it takes to win the center of the country, to win the House majority, continually just cause problems to cause problems. I'm just incredibly frustrated with the party. I think McCarthy.
Who are these people? Where are these people at?
First, that was a lot more Republican aligned, but Matt Gaetz and his little group voted it down, so he had to go to the Democrats. So Matt Gaetz is having to do this because of the own.
Oh, he said he changed parties because of the antics like today.
With these people, and I hope that the Florida frat boy just moves on eventually and realizes that politics is not a place where people like him should be. Also, I voted Trump.
No, he has illusions of grandeur.
Exact reason.
PJ is there in Tucson, Arizona.
That's exactly right, clinically. He's from Florida. He doesn't need to represent the center of the country.
Earlier that after 269 days as Speaker, Kevin McCarthy today was removed from that post on a vote of 269.
It was 269 days.
Jim.
Nice.
In Arizona, Republican. Jim, in Arkansas. Jim, good morning to you.
Yeah, I'm real fancy. I tell you what Matt Gaetz did today is a shot in the arm for the true patriots of the country. He's doing what needs to be done. If the people in Washington would get a hold of talk to the people back home instead of listening to their lobbyists and all the people that want to get them to do their will, it's all about the money. Biden is spending this out of control. All the people's spending that's out of control. Matt Gaetz is trying to get order restored and bring back.
Hell yeah, brother! Yeehaw!
To America. This is a republic, not a democracy, and he's trying to restore.
As a conservative, it's getting harder and harder.
Jim, who do you think should
like
replace Kevin McCarthy as Speaker?
Well, there's a couple guys I really like. Eddie Banks in Arizona is a good man, and Chip Roy is a good man.
Oh God!
In Montana,
Chip Roy is a good man.
Wonderful patriot.
Matt Rosendale.
Yeah, I think that's the guy. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
he's contemplating running for Senate.
Well, that would be a blessing too, but I think he would do more good being the Speaker of the House.
All right.
He's a wonderful man.
Jim there, and
wonderful
Arkansas.
man.
More of your calls, and also remember
He is one of the. I didn't know he was contemplating running for Senate. He was one of the votes to hold up or to oust
Speaker Nancy Pelosi was
Kevin
when
McCarthy.
she led a diverse caucus of Democrats and always prevailed, not only in her own position but also in doing the work of the American people. Kevin McCarthy gave away all his power to win the speakership and then capitulated to the ultra MAGA wing to allow an embarrassing impeachment inquiry based on no evidence and still lost his job. And then you have Rhonda in Kansas. I'm an active duty military spouse and I'm concerned about what this means for our nation's military families and veterans. And what about the funding for Ukraine? Please stop putting our families in harm's way if there's no plan to actually support them. And Zane,
what about Ukraine?
The Dems should negotiate for
Are you for it or against it?
Young Kim Nancy Mace. And Nate, Michigan and Democrat. A fight within the House only leads to a divide within the country. McCarthy being voted out just feeds into more internal Republican divide and halts bipartisan progress.
Yeah, we're into that. 18, an 18-year-old Democrat. Fuck you. What the hell? Get radicalized, son.
I'd like to say I've been a Democrat all my life, and I've watched politics ever since I was 12 years old. And what the House is doing now with all the special interest groups and the lobbyists, it's been going on for years up there. We need to get our House in order, okay?
We need to get radicalized.
We have to elect people at the state level that we can trust. People get up here and tell us all the time what we want to hear. And I think the American people are getting sick of it. We've got rampant inflation. We've got interest rates going out of hand. Everything else is happening. We got the Ukraine, all the money, all the appropriation bills that they're trying to put through and everything. Where does it stop? And
what about them?
Matt Gaetz saying one thing about.
Buddy, you're just talking like this. The world is just the way it works. Appropriation bills, like they're never gonna stop because you've always got to appropriate money for the functions of government.
Up there for us to represent our states on what we want. And if you cannot go up there and represent us, then we need to elect them out and get people in there that will do good for the American people.
All right, Raleigh. Tony, Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, Democratic caller.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having
Tony.
me. I like your yellow shirt, my favorite color. No pun intended, but
it does look nice on her.
I need a Democratic shirt now because he sounded a little Democratic today, and
we're listening. And
somebody better do a wellness check on Mr. McCarthy. Thank you.
Todd in Van Lear, Kentucky, Independent. Hi, Todd.
Yeah, I wanted to just say that it appears to me, and anyone that is looking at this thing through a clear glass, they would. Hello, can you?
He's feeling a little Democratic today.
With clear glass.
Yeah, anyone looking at this through a clear glass can see one thing. We have a government.
He could be politically fluid.
It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or
Some days he wakes up, he feels like a Democrat. Some days he wakes up, feels like a Republican.
We belong to the same bird, and it's flying in the wrong direction. But what needs to happen, and there's some other things that's going on in this country that people aren't seeing. You've got a Democrat.
We don't kink shame around here.
They're opening the border, and they're begging people over. Some of these people will become, at some point, citizens of the United States, and they will be in the working public and taxpayers, et cetera, like you and I. Some of them are here for the cartel, and the others will go into slavery. Yeah, I said that, slavery. There's slavery in this country going on right now. You got Mexican people working for some of the biggest horse farms in this state right now.
Okay, Todd. Phil in Las Vegas, a Republican. Phil, did you watch that debate this afternoon and the vote?
There might be something to what he was talking about.
From the Leadership Post.
Yeah, I think that really it's a reminder that the GOP conference needs to set very realistic expectations about what their scope and responsibilities are when they have a very slim majority and they're a check and balance on the executive. It's going to be very, very difficult now for the party to stay focused unless Matt Gaetz and his friends have a plan for who's going to come next.
Okay. Now, you probably saw ahead of today's debate and vote that the Democrats were united and that they were not going to vote to save Kevin McCarthy from being ousted as Speaker. Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the House, put out a statement saying, this is his statement on the chaos, dysfunction, and extremism of the House Republican Conference. They talked about
what do you say?
Kevin McCarthy's role on January 6th. He did in his statement to Democrats on why they should vote to remove him. His role of January 6th, his trip to Mar-a-Lago after January 6th, what he did on the continuing resolution or the debt limit deal that he negotiated with President Biden back in May. Those were some of the reasons that Democrats cited why they were not going to vote for keeping Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. Janice in Frisco, Texas, Republican. Janice,
Frisco,
your take on this. Go ahead.
Hi. I just think that everybody needs to kind of stand back, and this really took a lot of courage for Gaetz to come up and present this, and he's absolutely correct. I'm a lot older probably than most of the people that have been calling in, and I agree with the gentleman from Arkansas. I agree with the lady from Illinois. This government is so bloated, and we have to do something about it. I don't care what political affiliation you are. You can be communist or whatever, but we are so overspending. And every dollar, every taxpayer dollar, it's not the government's money. It's our money, the taxpayers. And we're having to pay $900 billion a year. $900 billion a year on interest alone because everything they spend is borrowed. We do not have any money. Period. And the thought that anybody could vote for Biden or a Democrat.
No, that's not how that works.
That Biden has done to this country in 2 years is beyond the pale. And I give credit to Mr. Gaetz because I'm sure that he's jeopardizing his career, but he had courage and guts enough. That's what this country used to have, is courage. And courage to stand up for what's right and what is right for the American citizen and this country. This wonderful country that people have died for. And I really think that we need to get back behind him, support him. You can get your congressional director. You can call and get, and everybody can call. It's a direct line to the office, and you can call and support him and everyone else.
Who are we supporting again?
Rep and tell him
Matt
this is
Gaetz?
what we want done.
No.
We want separate bills so there's not all this pork that's in each and every bill. And we really
Pork is good. Everybody likes pork.
Janet, thanks for that. More reaction from the Senate. Andrew Desidero, who covers Capitol Hill, caught up with Republican Senator Tom Tillis on McCarthy's ouster and how it impacts the Senate. Quote, the real practical impact, it raises questions about whether or not some Republican can govern. That's going to be an issue.
Yeah, I don't think they can.
Georgia, independent. Hi, Braden.
Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?
Doing well, Braden. So did you watch? Did you listen to that debate? Did you watch the vote?
Yes, ma'am. Ever since January, with the original speaker vote, there's the one question that's on my mind is, what happened to country over party? It seems like some politicians today are so...
Republicans are fascist, you asshole.
...aligning their party ideals that they've completely forgotten that they're there for us, the people. People like Matt Gaetz and 7 other Republicans. I get what they're trying to do, but at the same time, if you're in the position of Speaker McCarthy, you have to make deals with the other side of the aisle. Our country was founded on compromise. You're not going to get anywhere without compromise. So like I said, I understand what they're trying to do, but at the same time, it just seems idiotic.
All right, well, here are the list of the 8 Republicans, along with all the Democrats who voted to push out Kevin McCarthy from the top position. Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona, Ken Buck of Colorado, Tennessee.
I can't believe this happened. I can't believe I'm streaming to you right now. This is not what I expected to have happen today.
South Carolina's Congresswoman Nancy Mace and Matt Rosendale of Montana. Those were the 8 GOP members voting to remove Representative Kevin McCarthy. Peyton, Durham, North Carolina, Democratic caller. Hi, Peyton.
Yeah, hi. Hey, thanks. I just want to say first, thanks for C-SPAN. I think you all do a terrific job, and it's just it's a wonderful service. So I just want to say
C-SPAN is good.
Secondly, fundamentally, I don't think the Republicans are a serious party anymore. It's been a long time coming. I think what we're seeing right now, there's I'm not even going to say the takeover from the MAGA wing and the Trump wing, because fundamentally, I think that's who the Republicans are. They're not interested in politics.
This guy gets it.
They're lurching from chaos to chaos. When policy is difficult, and policy is difficult, it's performance politics, and then it's cultural wedge issues, and that's not helping anyone.
Thank you. Yes.
Hearings, Jim Jordan hearings, or these Biden, impeachment hearings. It's performance. It's ridiculous, and so I think what we're seeing here is sort of the end result of that. It's unfortunate. I'm not sure, do they march farther to the right here, or do they try to find a center? I'm not sure what will happen, but it's unfortunate. But it's been a long time coming, and that party, I think, needs to take a deep look internally and decide, do they want to be for something, or is it just performance? So those are my thoughts.
It is performance.
Thanks for calling in. Max Cohen tweets out, asked GOP Representative Eric Burleson, who didn't vote to oust McCarthy, but is close with those who did, whether McCarthy can survive this. Quote, I don't know. It's between him and the 8 people. A good leader will figure out how to work with the people that are contrarian. Michael, Grand Rapids, Michigan, independent. Michael, what do you say?
There's so much to say. I mean, I'm quite confused and quite troubled by all this, because I follow so much, I read so much, I watch so much from both sides.
We get it.
And when I speak with my friends and family, both sides, conservative and Democrat, the arguments are always so much more heated with my friends and family on the left. Anyway, the status quo in D.C. is, in my opinion, a complete failure. Americans are overburdened and they are exhausted. And, I don't know what's in Gates' heart.
Yeah, exactly, clinically.
Or his, his ultimate intentions, but
I would have loved it. See, this is why I couldn't be a C-SPAN host. I would have been like, oh, yeah? Name 5 books.
And I couldn't help but not agree with most of what he said. And I'm quite concerned about those who were opposed to him on the other side. There's just so much vitriol in politics, and I just think there's just too much me and too much money involved in it. So what he did, I give him kudos for. I thought he was showing a lot of guts and a lot of nerve, and I think he had the passion to show that he believed in what he was saying. So I believe him, and I'm in support of him, though I don't and I won't vote for him, but I don't think it's such a bad day considering where we are in the country. I mean, everything is just a mess, and it's not just this current administration's fault. The debt is crippling us, and it's going to put us in the grave if we don't do something about it.
All right, Michael.
Various.
Earlier today, after a 1 hour of debate, the House voted 216 to 210 to oust Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. The vote was called by the clerk in alphabetical order. Many of the law.
But I am calm clinically.
Seats to give their vote, yes or no. Some of you may have seen in the corner of your screen during our gavel to gavel coverage this afternoon, Kevin McCarthy sitting the entire time in the first row of the well closest to the clerk while this vote was happening.
The smile on his face.
Their name was called out, and they had to vote on this question of removing Kevin McCarthy.
He took it. He sat there and took it.
Now the House is in recess, subject to call of the chair. We're learning that Republicans will meet behind closed doors in 1 hour, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll see what comes next. A lot of questions. Ethan in Huntington Beach, Republican. Ethan, welcome to the conversation. What do you think?
Well, I just think that a lot of this is just getting ridiculous at this point. I mean, I served my country, and now I operate a pool maintenance company, and it's
nobody cares.
I turn on TV and I see these people in their nice suits and their crease dress slacks.
They weren't nice suits. I pointed it out.
Anymore, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you have Mike Garcia standing up there, and he's instead of arguing for the American worker, instead he's more focused on getting hair plugs and a hair transplant for whatever he's trying to show off to everybody else. They're not Kevin McCarthy, the now former speaker. He promised that he was going to get the national debt down, and he didn't do that. Instead, what he did was he decided to go ahead and just try to rally the troops.
If you ask this dude what the national debt is, do you think he'd know?
And I'm sick and tired of seeing this. I don't know what's going on anymore. And quite frankly, I'm very upset.
All right. Ethan from Huntington Beach talking as we look at the Capitol here behind us in Washington, D.C. for the first time in 113 years. The House voted on a motion to evict the Speaker from his position, and for the first time, the Speaker lost the vote. And so Representative Kevin McCarthy.
First vote in over 100 years.
John Bacon
First time it's ever succeeded.
He'd support expelling Matt Gaetz from the House GOP conference after the vote to oust McCarthy. Quote, he shouldn't be in our conference, Bacon says. He's not a Republican. What is your reaction to that? Let's hear from Tyler in Clarence City, New York. Democratic caller, Tyler. Go ahead.
So, I do think that with all of this, the government is just caught up and dysfunctional. We need to be focusing on, in 45 days, how we have to pass another funding bill.
Yep.
To keep the government open. And if everyone just keeps bickering,
I don't think that's going to happen now.
Lose their livelihood. Because people live paycheck to paycheck, and they get all their funding through the government. Without another bill,
He's nuts.
Instead, both parties are busy bickering with each other. Democrats see a time to take more power. Republicans see, any Democrats are supporting this, well, we can't support them. So instead of thinking what's really important right now, what's funding the government, they just keep bickering.
Tyler, they're noting that the continuing resolution is up in about 48 days. And then
middle of November.
All sides have to go back to the negotiating table. They've got to come up with a number to fund the government for fiscal year 2024, or they have to pass another continuing resolution.
I don't know why they didn't just go ahead and pass a year resolution.
New York Independent. Hi, Melissa.
Hi. I'm just frustrated. I just want a government that functions. And I really don't think that the politicians...
McCarthy lost his job over a 45-day bill.
I think they're paying attention more to lobbyists. And, they say that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, those are the ones that they're listening to, are the ones that are speaking the loudest. And unfortunately, those voices aren't necessarily always rational. The Democrats are coming off as weak. The Republicans are infighting. And
how are the Democrats coming off as weak? This is like the strongest the Democrats have ever looked.
Well, every year we see reports about government agencies conveniently losing.
Who are these people?
Dollars. So it's not that, Biden is spending all this money, that we don't have. There are lots of government agencies beside the, underneath him and underneath every president that we've had that have, taken advantage of the system and are overspending.
I thought about it, but I'm trying to get to a.
Tweets out latest plan for tonight.
I'm trying to get to a stopping point because I am starving. I wasn't expecting this. I haven't eaten yet.
Tonight. Sources also said speaker election votes are not expected.
Okay, not expected tonight.
We'll see how this.
I was going to say I will come back on if it.
Republicans plan to meet behind closed doors at 6:30 p.m.
If they voted tonight, I wasn't expecting it to happen tonight.
Kevin McCarthy, the congressman.
It might not happen for a couple of days.
Mark in Pennsylvania, Republican. Mark?
See what this dipshit has to say.
It's absolutely clear what we all just witnessed. Today is an historic day in America because Matt Gaetz is the center of power in Washington, D.C. for the GOP now.
That's not true.
That's what we saw.
Well, Matt Gaetz was able to put forward this motion to vacate, that's what it's technically called, because of the deal that Kevin McCarthy made with Matt Gaetz and other critics of him back when he was running for Speaker in January, that one person would be able to bring a motion to vacate to the floor.
Correct, but Kevin McCarthy said to bring it, and it was brought. Matt brought it today, and when a man can bring it like that,
very observant,
it gets attention from everybody in America. Matt Gaetz today is the filler of the vacuum of all the power.
20% of Americans probably knew this was going on.
That's what America just witnessed, and that's why everybody's freaking out. But what we saw...
Who's freaking out?
And say, hey, enough. And you know what? He beat the establishment because Kevin McCarthy is not going to be holding the gavel this evening nor tomorrow. That's a powerful dude. Matt Gaetz is one powerful dude. Respect.
Mark in Pennsylvania.
Yes, Senator Cornyn's right. I made that point earlier. Boner and Ryan both faced calls to step down.
The government over and the CR and the CR. What's the CR from?
Both walked away from the job.
Budget that you're doing. We elected Republicans. Get our own budget up there. That's all this CR is that Pelosi got another bite at the apple for another year while McCarthy sat on his hands. And then
that's fair enough clinically. Another 15% will hear about it on whatever news source they consume between now and the end of the evening.
Those other seven stood up.
Might be a comedy show, like a late show or something like that.
I don't know what you guys do with your. I'd like to see.
Might be a news program on cable news.
This money comes out of anywhere, and again, like I said, McCarthy, another 45 days is going to bring us into December, I believe, right? Late November?
Middle of November.
Budget. Good job, McCarthy. You earned it. Later. All right.
Ronnie, a Republican there in Pennsylvania. Mike in Illinois, independent. Hi, Mike. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, this is Mike. I am related to Senator Durbin, and he's not trustworthy. He got us to vote for him when at Durbin's reunion, and he ain't helped since. So, like Matt, he should be getting on the Democrats' Christ, because they probably paid him and the others off to vote for Biden's side. So why don't you try to get McCarthy back on in the vote? Redo him.
All right.
Redo him.
All right, Mike in
Yes,
Illinois.
redo him.
Pat Pergram with Fox News, who's covered Capitol Hill for many years.
Oh.
With this tweet, GOP North Carolina Congressman McHenry is Speaker Pro Tem of the House, but he is not in line to the presidency because he is not the Speaker. He's an acting Speaker. So the Speaker's slot is skipped in the line.
I think he said he was friends with Dick Durbin,
Joshua,
and that Dick Durbin paid people to vote for Joe Biden.
I'm from the Florida Panhandle, so I have a
I think.
pretty long history of being.
We got a Florida man.
But today really is unique. I don't understand how anyone can watch this unfold and still consider the Republican Party of today to be a serious political party. They have no agenda
They got some
beyond the
sense.
constant culture war nonsense they surface. And more importantly, they have no ability to
Related to the dick.
or agreement with anyone outside the most extreme wing of their party. I mean, at least they're providing some political entertainment for people who like watching this kind of drama unfold, like neoliberals in the discussion thread. But it would be really nice to have a functioning
What
government.
about us streamers over here in the far reaches of the internet?
Claiming Matt Gaetz filled the power vacuum in
The
Washington.
neoliberals all kind of thought it was a sad day, didn't they?
Sees Gaetz for exactly what he is, a petulant child throwing a fit because he didn't get what he wanted. And that's all I have to say.
All right, Joshua, let's listen to Congresswoman Nancy Mace, Republican of South Carolina, one of the 8 Republicans who voted to push out Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. Here she is talking to reporters outside of the Capitol on the steps after the vote.
As a woman, I have been fighting for women's rights since before I ever came to Congress. And when Roe v. Wade was overturned, I continued that fight. And I made deals with Kevin McCarthy, with the Speaker, that he has not kept to help women in this country. And we have done nothing for them. And I come from South Carolina, and when you shake my hand and you make a promise and you don't keep it, there are consequences to those actions.
Her outfit is gaudy.
Who has been fighting my party on this issue to be made promises that we're going to work to get women greater access to birth control, and we don't do it, and now we're 10 months in and we don't have time to do it, or as a survivor of rape, and I worked all year on a rape kit bill that hasn't seen the time of day, I cannot tell you.
Good on her for her issues, though.
Woman in this conference, in this Capitol, to have that happen. Like, if you make a promise, you should keep it. And if you promise women you're going to help them, then you damn well better do it. So as a fiscal conservative, I'm angry. As a woman, I am deeply frustrated. And I just, that is the consequence of that.
Good on her.
The American people to trust the Speaker. When the Speaker makes a promise to either side of the aisle, they ought to keep it. So for me, it's not left versus right because the Speaker told Democrats one thing and Republicans another. We're not going to agree on everything all the time. We're going to have fights. We're going to have disagreements, but we're all adults here and we can have that debate. Some sides will win.
That's debatable.
Will lose. But that debate is worth.
Look at this dude. He doesn't look like an adult. He can't grow facial hair.
Misleading people on both sides of the aisle. For me, it's not ideological. It's about having a leader in our nation who will tell the truth, who you can trust, and that's what the American people deserve.
How do you know a new speaker will be any better?
Should be the next speaker.
Explain a lot of your concerns you hear them. How did you weigh all that against the other risk, which is the House in chaos?
Well, I mean, the House was going to be in chaos if this did not happen. I am looking for a speaker who will tell the truth to the American people, who will be honest and trustworthy with Congress, with both parties. We are a deeply divided nation. We are a deeply divided capital right now. And we need people who are going to tell the truth, who are going to be honest, and who the American people can trust. At the end of the day, for me, it's about trust. And don't make promises you can't keep, and don't lie to people.
Would you support Steve Scalise for Speaker?
What's that?
Would you support Steve Scalise for Speaker?
I am open to a number of folks up here. We'll have that discussion, and we'll figure out who will be the next speaker. But from my perspective, as a woman up here, I want someone who's going to be honest. And if we
get it, you're a woman.
This country, we ought to do it. If we say we're going to rein in spending, if we say we're going to have a budget, now we're going to disagree on the numbers, both sides will, but that's worthy of a debate. If we say we're going to have a budget, we need to do it. If we say we're going to have 12 separate spending bills and give the power of spending back to the people, we ought to do it. But that's not what happened here, and that's why we're in the situation.
Ought to do it.
If he were to continue to be speaker, there would be chaos that would continue because he's not been honest with either party.
What if McCarthy comes back and tries again? What if he tries again and again, talks with you? Can you win you?
Did you just call somebody a slut?
We'll see what happens next.
You represent.
Don't call people sluts enough.
What
You fucking sluts in chat.
Decided to call my staff yesterday rather than call me. So I'm right here. I've always been here. He has my number.
You're all sluts.
So what would it take for McCarthy to?
Well, I'm looking for a speaker who will be honest with the American people. That's what they deserve.
All right, so if they were to happen to come back on tonight, it doesn't look like they are. I will come back on. Otherwise, that's your show for tonight. I was going to take tomorrow and Thursday off, but I'll skip tonight. I'll come on tomorrow, and then we'll see about Thursday. So go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live.